fine.
She got my head cut off.
That's all right.
Probably some kind of
Yeah. Well, good morning and welcome to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. Today is July the 16th, 2024, and it's now 9:30 a.m. And Mr. Cook, if you'd lead us in the invocation and a pledge of allegiance.
If you'll join me in prayer. Father, Lord, it is so wonderful to come to you today. We are thankful for the beautiful day that you've given us and this beautiful community. God, we want to thank you for your hand of protection that you had on former President Trump this past weekend. Lord, we pray for peace in our country. We pray for level heads. Lord, we're so thankful for all of our public servants and first responders in this county. God, the people that you have provided for us, Lord, we are just so thankful. So God, be with them today and always. Give them wisdom and discernment and your hand of protection. It's in your precious Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Perry. At this time, Sam, if you would call the roll to bring the court to order, please.
Sarah Sanders. Here. Sean Logston.
Here.
Karen Johnson. Here. Brian Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. The approval of the minutes for the July the 2nd, 2024 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 2nd, 2024.
I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to approve the minutes of the July 2nd, 2024 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting as presented. Sam, call the roll, please.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes,
Sanders.
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Treasurer's transfer report. Canan?
Yes, that transfer report is dated for July the 16th of 2024 for your approval.
I make a motion that we approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented.
I second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the Treasurer's transfer report as presented. Sam, call the roll.
Johnson.
Yes.
Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Presentation and approval of all bills.
I make a motion that we approve all bills as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the bills as presented. Sam, call the roll.
Bleemel.
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Sanders.
Yes.
Logston.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, Canan.
Yes, Judge, and the list is quite lengthy. My treasurer's report included a schedule of expenditures and federal awards, which is the CFO report, a GASB 87, which is the lease disclosure report, a liability register summary, a statement of receipt, a statement of assets, statement of appropriation, statement of revenues, statement of claims, an interfund cash transfer report, a revenue condition report, an appropriation condition report, and a financial statement through June the 30th of 2024, and consider the closing of fiscal year 2023 and 2024 as reported to the Department of Local Government.
Okay.
I
Thank-
make,
Go ahead. Thank you, Canan.
I make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel to approve the Treasurer's closing report for the 2023-2024 fiscal court cycle. Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leamel,
Yes.
motion carried.
Do we have any guest speakers?
No, Judge.
None? Okay. Okay, at this time we have some presentations as requested by the court. I'd like to start out with Keith Griffey, our CFO.
I think moving forward, though, we have requested to do half the first meeting and then half the second. We've got everybody today. It's going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I think the request is to do half and half. But just I don't know if we need to make a change moving forward.
Keith?
Thank you. I've handed a packet out to you guys, and we're not going to go over this in detail because that would take probably about an hour. But that's for you all to read, and I'm going to go back to each one of those and kind of point those out. One of the things that we try to do is our priorities and our accomplishments. I do a weekly report to the judge, and this is kind of an overview of all of that. These are, and everything that I talk about today is something that's happened in the last month. This is things that I've worked on in the last month. The first one is, the priority is the financial update. The budget was completed, submitted, and accepted. You all passed that. That's already it's on the books in Frankfurt. We took that up there, and that was not just the last month, but the last 6 months that we worked on that. The first thing that you've got in your packet is a year-to-date financial comparison, and I put this in your all's boxes every month. This is a year, and this coincides with what Ken Ann does. I get her information and then do a comparison to where we are, where we finished, and where we were last year. And just a highlight of that, last year we spent 65% of the budget and 72% of the actual revenue that came in. This year we were at 66% of the budget and 78% of the actual revenue. That's where we get our carryover so that we can pay our bills until we start getting revenue in again. So that's kind of where we are. This gives you a snapshot of where we've been, where we're going, and how that works. The next one is a year-to-date on the premium insurance comparison, where we were and where we are. You can take a look at that and see that's pretty standard. That doesn't change a lot. Now, as the county grows, that will change as well. And then there's a 4-page population statistics update. I did this. I put this together. I keep these statistics all the time because they're good we have to use them for KIPTA, for road projects that we work on, just about everything we do in the county. I put this package together. Magistrate Johnson and I met with the head of the Restaurant Association to look at not just the north end, but the entire county, what restaurants could go. And so we put together a package, fairly condensed, but it shows the growth of the county, where the county's going, where we are, where our median income is, how that's risen. Again, we're the 10th largest county, 10th fastest growing county in the state of Kentucky. So we gave that information to her to take throughout the state, the region, and the nation. And she has already started to disseminate that information to people that are members of her restaurant. And Magistrate Johnson and I, it's a friend of hers, that's how we got that, and that's where we went with that. The second priority is KIPTA. We talked a lot about KIPTA. Some of the KIPTA folks are here today. We do a lot with them. The judge is the secretary-treasurer, which means he's second in line to be the chairman of that board. I'm a voting member of that board, so we're very active in that. I attached the board minutes that we have from the last board meeting, just so you all can kind of see the things that we talk about. Also, TPC, that's the Transportation Policy Committee. I have to look at that because KIPTA does a lot of letters, and you have to figure out what that is. The Policy Committee, I'm the vice chair of that. That is, again, for roads, for what we try to do moving forward with getting better roads and doing things like that, working with the legislators. That's where that pretty much starts, in that committee. And so that's an important committee, and again, I'm the vice chair of that, and I put the last meeting minutes attached for you all to see there as well. The TTCC, which is the Transportation Technical Coordinating Committee, works in conjunction with TPC. I'm the past chairman of that. Kind of things start there, they go to TPC, and then they go to the board. So I try to stay real active in anything road. Again, I've said I'd become the road guy. So that's kind of where all of this has taken place and where it's gone. Regional Water Management Committee, the judge, the mayors, I know the Shepherdsville, Jose's here today. All the mayors are members of that. Where the water projects, and the judge has got some new water projects that I don't know that we'll go over that today. I don't think we'll have time, but he's put in for more water projects. We've gotten more water projects than we've ever gotten before, and that's through this committee, and I'm a voting member on that as well. The next one is Safe Streets for All. That's kind of a new thing. This is a committee that looks at, again, going back to the road projects, looks at the most dangerous roads we have in each county, each city, each region. Not only serious accidents, but fatal accidents. And you can see where these are. And we've created a committee to see what we can do to lower that. How do we get that down? Of course, the goal is 0 fatalities, 0 serious accidents. Not going to happen, but how can we lower that? I've been a member of this committee since it started. I will tell you next week, I've got a one-on-one with those folks, and then we will bring in something that is Magistrate Sanders brought up yesterday, having some groups of folks, some committees. We will do a committee that we will appoint. You guys will have to okay it. A committee, not more than probably 4 people, that would look at where are we going to go with this? How do we do this? What does this look like? And just moving that forward. We'll have law enforcement involved in that. We'll have the magistrates involved in that. But it's very detailed information. It shows the history, the patterns, the things like that. Again, we thought there would be a dip during COVID. There wasn't, which is interesting to me. So we're going to look at all of that, and I will have, again, a one-on-one next week with the folks at KIPTA to move that committee forward. The last thing on KIPTA is a call for projects. This is a big deal. When KIPTA gets money, sometimes extra money comes in, and we do a call for projects. I met with Tom Hall after the last fiscal court meeting. Magistrate Logston brought up Greenbrier. I talked with him. We're going to partner with KYTC for a call for projects. For Greenbrier, we'll have to do a study. There is a study, so it's kind of low-hanging fruit, so we can kind of jump off of that. But we're going to put that in as a call for projects. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but we are going to try to get Greenbrier moved ahead. We're also going to add, after talking to Magistrate Sanders, we're going to try to get West 44, which is a priority that is on our 44 project. It's just down the line. So we'll see what we can do there and see if that fits into the call for projects. But this is something else that we work on. So we can see KIPTA is a very valuable partner, and we're very, very involved with them. The third one is roads, working with the judge executive and the Frankfurt delegation. We got more money for roads, real money, for the first time in a long time, maybe ever. But we got more money this time out of Frankfurt than we've ever gotten in this county. Part of that is the judge executive worked tirelessly on that. I was up there all the time. We worked with our state reps, worked really hard, and because of their work as well, we were able to get more money. Now, there's more money to be had. I will leave this meeting today and go to a transportation committee meeting because I'm going to make sure that we get our fair share. For the first time, this county is starting to get recognized what we are, 10th largest, 10th fastest growing. And we're going to start getting what we deserve. We put more money back into the state, along with Jefferson County and Oldham County, than anybody else in the state. Then that's 117 other counties. We do more. We want ours, and that's what the judge and I have been up there and have told them plainly. We want to get what is coming to us, and we're starting to see that work. And there is in your all's packet, there is a breakdown. We get the entire road plan. What I did is I took it and broke it down by what our county is getting by year. So you will see there are things in there that says construction is the last thing. There's steps that you have to go through. If you look at that, you'll see that there is, find it in here. Kind of go over that real quick because that is an important one. In 24, we have design, right-of-way, utilities, construction, and there is planning money. Now, planning is usually done first, but that's not done a lot. A lot of planning's already been done before we even get to the state level, but there is money. So if you look at that, you can see all the money that will be spent this year, and we do have quite a few construction projects. You'll look at 25, again, same thing. Design, right-of-way, utilities, construction. 26, 27. 27 is the only year, I think, that we don't have construction money, but then it picks back up, and we get quite a bit in 28 and 29. So you can see all the steps that we have to go through. When we say we get a road, it doesn't necessarily mean, people say, hey, I want this road fixed. I want this built. I want this new road. I want all these things. You have to go through these steps, and you have to do design first, and you can see where the design money, but if there's right-of-way, construction, and even the planning, those things have all been done beforehand. So this is not an overnight thing. This is a years and years in the making. But again, we've talked about Highway 44 has been it's been a priority. Phase 1 is done. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, Judge. The judge and I attended in Mount Washington. Phase 2, how they're going to do it. There's going to be a public meeting. We've also got design ready to go all the way to the Spencer County line. So those are things that are going to be put into this plan where we're going to go into the future. Community development, this is another part of my job. Just some of the projects we have that are ongoing, the 245 projects, Marshall Steakhouse, the Grand Reserve. We've got meetings all the time. We're talking to those folks. Those things are moving. The judge and I have a meeting this Friday with some folks that could be investors. So that is an ongoing, everyday, top of the brain type of thing. 3+1, this is something that Magistrate Bleemel brought to our attention. Ken Ann and I have been working with the 3+1 folks as well as Stockyards Bank. Ken Ann and I had a great meeting with them. They've done the analysis. We think there's over $1 million that we can use right away. We're going to go liquid, short term. As Ken Ann and I told them, we're going to do baby steps. We're not going to go into anything. Treasuries are safe. They're as safe as a CD. We're not going to go that route because there's some other things that you have to do through the bank. So we're looking at really doing some small steps, but could make us quite a bit of money to bring in revenue into the county. The north end, I talked a little bit about that. That was Magistrate Johnson. That's the project that she and I were working on. Mount Washington, again, there are roads, and there's also, I've been working with their folks there for their Main Street. They've asked me to kind of help them with that, so we're looking at what we can do there. That kind of coincides with where the road from 31E to 31EX, that area is going to be next to be widened for 44, so they wanted me to be involved to see what we can do with the Main Street there. EDA, Greater Louisville Inc. Partnership. I'm a board member of EDA. I think there's things we can do there. But I'm also a member of a Greater Louisville Inc. partnership. They partnered with the surrounding counties. They tried this years ago. They came to the judge and I said, we tried this years ago and we got left out. We're not going to do that again. So we have a really good working relationship. And they actually send me a list. Now, it's confidential, of people that are looking at moving to the region, and they send it to myself. I work with Bob Fouts some on this, but then we try to find where there are available properties that would fit with what these businesses want. So that's another thing, that's a monthly activity that I work on as well. The comprehensive plan, I've worked with Charlie on that. Charlie's the lead on that. But we're all, and some of us sitting in this room, we're all part of that, the judge, executive as well. And I added this because we heard just last week, the legislators this year added a fairgrounds grant. There are only 88 fairgrounds in the state of Kentucky is the information that I got. And there's a $750,000 grant, and I'll be trying to work with, this is new to me. I think the mayor in Shepherdsville probably knows about this as well, but there are things that we can maybe look at doing for our fairgrounds that we could improve that. And then the last thing is, and this is new, I've started as a training officer. We're doing trainings for all of our employees here. Ms. Johnson, I've talked to her about this, and she She really likes this. And I added what the first training was. We've done it with our frontline folks. We're going to do it with our directors, and I would like to invite, and we'll break this down, you'll get an invitation for you guys to come. The first one was customer service. And we went into this, and I have a background in that. I taught that for years and years in the banking industry. Modified it some, but we did that, got a really good reception from our folks. But along with that, and you'll see a sheet in there, we're doing mystery shops. All the directors know this. Right now, there are people out there, we're not going to tell you who they are. They are fake clients, and they are going into places, and for instance, they went to animal control, and they asked for how they could adopt a dog. And they talked to David. David did great, got a gift certificate to Panera Bread because he did so well. So we're not trying to catch people doing bad things. We're trying to catch them doing good things. And when they do, we're going to give them something. And so I went out and bought some Panera Bread gift cards, and that's what they're going to get. Now, I won't buy them much because I didn't want to spend that much money. So, but they are going to get things like that. So we'll have people calling them on the phone to see how they answer. We have a standard way to answer the phone now. This is all part of this, and it'll be quarterly. It's just once a quarter, and we've already gotten suggestions on what we could do going forward into the future. So that is really fast talking. So that's what I got.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear about the fairgrounds grant. That's something I've talked to Judge Summers about since I've been here. Probably one of my pet peeves is the fairgrounds. I think there's so much opportunity to improve that fairgrounds. And we were talking just a couple of days ago. I drove through Bowling Green on 65. If anybody's been through there, they've pretty much, the entire fence line as you get into Warren County, Bowling Green city limits is a 4-board black fence.
Yeah.
And I know Mount Washington has done a lot of 4-board black fences, and I thought it would be amazing. And I think you said you've even thought of it yourself. But if we could improve that fence line there in front of the fairgrounds and paint those buildings and get some consistency, being so close to Louisville is just a huge opportunity. But it looks like 1960 out there, and I think we're missing a huge opportunity with improving that place. And I don't know why it's not been done. And to see that there's a grant there, I mean, I think it'd be amazing if there was a 4-board black fence along the interstate. All those buildings were painted, even if they looked like distilleries, but just some type of image improvement there, because I think it's an eyesore. I really do, and I think there's so much room for improvement. And it's nice. I mean, when you go in, I mean, it's well maintained. It's maintained. They do a great job maintaining it. But I really think we can get that thing updated, and I don't know where. And knowing that there's a grant out there and you're working on that, that's nice to know, because I'd love to see some improvements there. And if I'd be glad to help you with that, because that's kind of something I've been. Every time I drive by there, I see other counties' fairgrounds, and I'm like, man, we're missing the boat. We're missing the boat.
Right. And that's, this is fairly new information, so I don't have a lot on it. I do know that, again, I know that there's fewer places that have a fairgrounds than what you would think. Not every county has a fairgrounds, not every city does. But we'll see what can be used for that. I don't have any details. Like I said, I just heard about this last week.
Yeah, especially the location, considering that we're developing a resort across the interstate and everything happened at that interstate. I know the county owns that property and leases it, so I mean, I think we still share some responsibility of updating and doing some things, and it wouldn't be a loss. But yeah, I'd love to help anyway on that for sure, if there's any opportunity.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, very detailed. Thanks a lot.
Good information.
Yeah, I mean, they get. Oh yeah. Yeah, the entire Bowling Green. It's all but they've replaced the cage metal wire woven fence, barbed wire fence with black 4-board horse, and it looks amazing when you go through Bowling Green. And I mean, we're not talking about a long strip there in front of the fairgrounds, and I think that itself would make a huge difference. And then if those buildings were painted the same color instead of 5 different colors, it would help too.
There you go. Tony, David, either one of you for animal control?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, so I'm gonna go over a few accomplishments that we've done in the last month or so. Obviously, we've continued to implement our Shelter Buddy program. It's working really well. It's a very detailed program that basically you put all the information in. Our animal control officers can pull it up while they're in the field and look up all the information. You don't have to call the office and look up things or anything like that we used to anymore. So we're still implementing that, getting that all taken care of. We've successfully updated our animal-related ordinances. That's all taken care of now. We have one pending cruelty case that was completed. We had 2 animals that were released to the shelter. And then we have one pending cruelty case that is still ongoing, which that animal, one of the animals that was involved with that was released to the animal shelter as well too. So we have one of our full-time kennel attendants was sworn in this last month, so we have another sworn in peace officer now. So now I think that's a total of 6. So we have 6 sworn in people now that work for animal control. So a couple of them are still in training, so we're still working on that, but they're all doing really well. Our 23-24 spay and neuter grant expense report was submitted to the Department of Agriculture. That's all complete. We took care of all that. I'm not
27 spays or neuters, the vast majority of those contributed to the public. So that was people in need having their animals fixed.
And that money, if anybody don't know, that comes from your spay and neuter license plates. That's where this money comes from. It's grant money that helps people to get their animals fixed. So we was able to implement that. We got that all taken care of. We also submitted our new application for the 24-25 grant cycle as well too. And also we're individual pet license, of course, you know, with fiscal court year ending, we're having to re-up everybody's kennel license, pet license, so we're busy changing out all those licenses with different departments. That's pretty much all I have on accomplishments at this point. Shelter capacity, I mean, I'm sure everybody's aware, I don't know if anybody knows, but we have 25 dog kennels, 18 cat cages. Last month alone, we impounded 72 animals. So 28 dogs, 44 cats, 67 of those did leave alive. So we ended up with at least over a 90% live release rate. So we're still considered a no-kill animal shelter. The last few months has been a little difficult. I don't know if everybody watches social media, but there's animals being dumped everywhere, unfortunately. And it's not just us that is having this problem. There's multiple counties around us that are having the same issues. I know I spoke to some of the other animal control departments, and one of the things I'm cracking down on is breeding. The breeding is just the backyard breeding's got to stop. I've turned in a couple to planning and zoning, and I'm trying to get a couple more together as well too to get taken care of. We actually really only have one legitimate breeder in this county. So anybody else that is breeding or selling dogs is not legit. So let's see. Also, last month alone, we had 156 animal control dispatch calls. 60 of those were animal control issue runs, 18 were cruelty complaints, 66 were general dispatch runs, 6 routine inspections. We had 8 different after-hours emergency calls. That usually depends with law enforcement. If they need something for our assistance, we go out after hours to help them either get a dog or something like that. Or it could be with EMS as well too for a patient or something. We emailed 61 resource guides. This is something us and the staff kind of came up with. We were having people call, multiple calls a day on people asking questions on where they could rehome their pet, where they could find food if they couldn't afford food. So we've made this nice little resource pamphlet that we're going to put in different places that has all the information for everything that anybody needs to know about all the vets in Bullitt County, low-cost vet care, food, pet banks, training, lost and found pets, need to rehome your pet, boarding and grooming. It's got a little bit of everything in there. And they made it real nice. It looks real nice and clean.
Do you have any extras of those with you today?
Yeah, I know I have at least one with me. I think I have a few up there at the fiscal court office, but
Yeah, those are nice.
yeah, I'm gonna. We'll have it in a couple of the vet's office. We'll have one set up here in the fiscal court office. So if anybody's in need of something,
Give me some of those too.
definitely will. So we worked on that because that was something that was getting to be. You get about 5 or 6 calls a day on somebody trying to rehome their pets, unfortunately. It's a sad situation the economies came to this, but unfortunately, people's pets are usually the first thing that suffer.
They're really cute when they're puppies sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. Also, we don't really publicize this, but we do what's called we kind of have a pet food bank ourselves. In other words, if a citizen from Bullitt County comes in, they show their ID that they live in Bullitt County, and they say, hey, I don't have money to feed my dog this week. Do y'all have any dog food? We give them 5-gallon bags, a couple 5-gallon bags of dog food to hold them over to help feed their dogs. So, and we have done that to 17 different individuals this month alone, which we do keep track of who takes what, get records of everything. Our priorities that we have set pretty much coming up. Shelter Buddy, we're going to keep working on that, keep adding data, training our staff how to use it. We've been in discussion with Tractor Supply. They have an adoption event coming up in August that we're going to attend. We do have another Kroger event coming up in October that we'll be attending as well too, like a donation drive. Those work really well in Mount Washington, really well. We got one of our full-time employees is going to be deployed in August. So we are going to move one of our part-times to a full-time. She's already inclimented that she wants to move into that full-time position. So we will have a part-time position open eventually.
The employed individual does want to come back to the job when she's back in.
Yeah. But I think she's going to be deployed for a minute, is what we're told. So might be a while. Let's see. David, I'll let you kind of go over that last little bit there. You know more about that than I do, the medical stuff.
Okay. So because we lost with our previous director's resignation, the only euthanasia specialist on staff, we had to retire both our DEA license and our registration with the Kentucky Veterinary Board. We are trying to get that re-upped. It took us a minute because there was a lot of controlled substances left in our possession that we had to destroy. That took a minute to find a way to get those destroyed. Sheriff's Department did that for us within the last year. We do have one staff member, myself, that has been trained for euthanasia. I performed it when I worked at a veterinary clinic 20 years ago, or 10 years ago. 20 now, no, okay. The process requires an FBI background check. So I have to get all of the documentation that is required of that, including my college transcript, my training certificate, my fingerprint, all of that. We want to have that in-house, one, because it does save money for the county. We are paying $70 per euthanasia when we do have to perform that procedure. After-hours emergencies do sometimes mean animals in medical distress. So as opposed to just allowing that animal to die on its own after hours, we want to be able to humanely end its life. So that's what I'm not sure on the end point of that, how long it's going to take. I'm kind of relying on KBVE and FBI and their timetables, but we are working on getting that back in-house.
And we're looking to hopefully have it by the time we move into our new shelter. So everything should work out good with that. I don't know, you guys probably don't really wear it too much, but just I kind of like to show people with Shelter Buddy. It is very detailed. It tells you every address, every person's name. I can't really show y'all some of this because some of this is private stuff. So, but this is how detailed. This was just for the month of June on runs. So this shows you we do stay busy quite a bit on running around. And in the month of June, we were also able to give David a small vacation and our other animal control officer a 2-week vacation. So we were able to do that as well during all this. But that's really all I have at this time.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
How many are you going to be able to house at the new facility? I forgot.
Was it 30, 35?
35 I think in the regular area, and then you had some other rooms where you could house more. So I think it total up to about 50 altogether.
And there's an area to be expanded upon.
26.
Yeah, there's area to be expanded upon in the facility as well.
And the other question was, do you think it's so overcrowded right now, had a lot to do with the fireworks and them running off?
No, he was overcrowded.
July tends to stay busy generally, but as of the last 4 years, our industry has seen an influx between COVID, the economy, things have just shifted within the public. Louisville Metro has been at capacity for 2-3 years now. Hardin County struggling, Shelby County, Oldham, Spencer, we're all in the same boat. So everybody is just seeing an uptick in stray runs, an uptick in requests for owner surrenders, that kind of thing.
So I noticed in the post that it's, instead of calling the shelter, asking if you find a dog, instead of calling the shelter to come pick it up, to try to find the owner yourself if you can, or report if you saw somebody actually dump something. I don't think I would ever call animal control to come and pick up a dog, I guess, unless if it's vicious. I think I would try to find the owner, because it probably belongs to somebody right down the street.
And we try to encourage that, yes.
Yeah, and I think it would be a quicker get together than
Right.
doing all of
And
that.
that's why we made that post, just kind of let people know, hey, there's other options than just calling us to bring it to us, you know? Yeah.
Try to find the owner first.
Is there a way that we could get emailed to us that brochure in a digital format so we could share it on social? Because that's some really good information in
Yeah.
there.
It is.
We
And,
definitely can.
and then I guess my next question would be, any updates on the shelter? I know you're working close with the judge's office. I mean, are we,
We're waiting on the steel to come in still. It
Yep.
should be any time now in tow.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it was 4 to 6 weeks on ordering the steel. Once the steel comes in, Jamie is supposed to call me, and then obviously I'll let all you guys know that it's in as well.
Okay.
The judge had said something about doing
A
thing over there
groundbreaking,
as well, too.
yeah.
Okay. I do have a question. How many dogs do you all adopt a month?
It varies.
It fluctuates. You see periods of time like back to school, Christmas time, where adoptions will uptick. We tend to see a shift month to month in the summer because people go on vacation, so you do see a little bit less adoption around that time. It's also dependent on what we have. A place like the Kentucky Humane Society can basically pick and choose their intake, so they can pick the higher value or faster track animals, where an animal control facility is just kind of dependent on what is brought to them stray or what they manage to get in terms of cruelty releases or anything like that. We do a fair number. Again, we have a 94.4% live release rate, industry standard, and that's just a shifting term. Anything above a 90% is considered no-kill.
So what do you think the number would be?
I'd have to go back in and look. I do keep a month-to-month spreadsheet with all of our dispositions, so I don't have that off the top of my head, but I can always find that out.
I was at a fundraiser last week, Barktown Rescue. Are we working with, we have a good relationship with a lot of different rescues right now? I know there's a time period there is a little shaky, but
We have a good working relationship with the rescues that we do work with. We had to implement a rescue application and memorandum of understanding between us and 8 rescue partners. There were a couple of organizations that were a little bit iffy that had reached out to pull animals, and we filtered them out with the application process. We do work pretty frequently with Barktown. Heather, their president, will usually come once every couple weeks to help feature dogs on her Facebook Live. So we do have a good working relationship with Barktown. We also have a good working relationship with Kentucky Humane Society, with Pit Bulls of St. Francis, various other local. We also have a couple of relationships with some Indiana-based rescues too.
last question. Keith mentioned earlier in his presentation about kind of some training and stuff. Volunteers, are you having good working, we got plenty of volunteers stepping up, and
Yeah.
we got something in place that's kind of helping them?
And we're one of the few places that still permits like community, drug court mandated community service. A lot of places are kind of veering away from that. So we do get quite a bit of them calling us, asking if they can send their people out. It starts as non-animal handling, helping with housekeeping and things like that. But as soon as we know that they're, 1, consistent, and 2, not gonna put themselves in harm's way, we do start allowing them. We have a volunteer cutoff at 14 years old, and in order to get more volunteers, we're looking at decreasing that with parent or legal guardian present.
I lied, last question. If somebody wanted to donate $50 in here today to the animal shelter, I know in the past it went to the general fund. At one point, there was a Friends of Bullitt County Animal Shelter set up, but then it was dissolved. If somebody in the community wanted to make a monetary donation to you all, how's the best way to do that?
We have donation accounts that is basically donating to one of the 2 local veterinarians, Shepherdsville Animal Hospital and East Bullitt Animal Clinic. Since they see some of our routine, our backup, or our emergency situations, that money goes toward our account for paying off those expenses.
Okay,
Or
so,
you could probably take like feeders, gift card feeders, so
like
Yeah.
gift cards. But like cash, if it's brought to the shelter, would have to go into the general.
Right, that's one reason I get, I've had several people ask, with that being dissolved, what's the best way to make sure their dollar goes to help you all?
And supply donations as well.
Yeah, we usually put up a nice wish list too of stuff items we could use there at the shelter. And usually we'll kind of say, hey, if you can just buy some of these items, that's gonna be the best donation you can make, so.
Okay,
And
sounds
we
good.
try to post that wish list to our Facebook page the second to last Friday of every month.
Okay, thanks a lot. All right, thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Mark Gardner.
Good morning.
Well, I'm fresh off of vacation myself, so I'm probably not as prepared as some of these people with all the fancy numbers and all that kind of stuff, but we'll get through it. If y'all wouldn't mind, I'd like to kind of introduce myself and tell people how I got to this point. Mark Gardner, Maintenance Director for Bullitt County. I'm in charge of all the building maintenance of, numerous buildings. I started that with 3. I think I've got 7 or 10 or whatever now. Every building we have, I pretty well have worked on there in some shape or form. I started out at the jail. My first 4.5 years was maintenance deputy over there, and the opportunity to come open over here. Moved over here. I've been over here a little over 15 years. It's been a real challenge throughout the years, obviously. There's a lot that goes on around here and a lot of equipment to take care of and buildings to fix and repair, and a lot for one guy, I guess, but we do the best we can. So that's kind of how I got to this point. I guess to what you all really want to hear is what I've been doing lately. The custodian bunch that we finally hired, the Corvus, she finally got her training in and seems to be doing well. Everyone seems to really like her, and she's doing a great job.
Like her,
Don't
she's
you
very
think?
pleasant, she does a great job.
Yeah, just wanted to pass that along first off.
That's
And,
good.
Some of the accomplishments and stuff here lately, I threw a little thing together just last week, what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. It doesn't sound real important or real exciting on a lot of them, but it's just some of the stuff that I do. Replaced a faucet at the annex at the first floor restroom. I'm in the process of repairing a hole in the sheriff's department across town, the building over there at Saltwell. Having to patch and go back and get it all leveled out, and I've been over there like 5 trips already, but we're getting there. Replaced flush valve on the toilet at the first floor ladies' room at the annex. Cleaned up it's just one of the little simple things I do. Clean up some cobwebs out here on these lights and the windows up top where everybody can kind of see through them upstairs. We've got a big display up there, so it always looks kind of like bad, so I have to go do that a few times a year. Filters changed at the multipurpose community action center down the street. They've got a power outage down there this morning, actually, when I got in. Had to go down there and get LG&E involved in that, and they actually left because the air's off and everything down there. It's a partial electrical outlet, so it's part of it's on, part of it's not, and LG&E is probably here as we speak to fix that. So I took care of that this morning. Found out I've got 2 other flush valves that in this building here that I'm going to have to change today. And the sheriff's AC unit went out yesterday, so I reset it. I've got it going right now, but that's not the issue. We're going to fix that today. And so I clean the parking lots up around here all the time and weed and all that type of stuff, landscaping and groundskeeping and all that. The sheriff's office over there at Saltwell has a AC issue, I guess, a balance issue. When I was over there doing this wall, the kitchen area, they keep that kitchen door closed all the time. When you go in there, it's really steaming hot in there. So I think what that is it's attached to your all's garage bays on both sides, and there's no insulation up above the drop ceiling, and I think all that heat coming through is causing that. Plus, they keep the door closed, so there's not a whole lot of airflow going on. I think it would help if the door was open, but we'll look into that a little heavier, but I just kind of found that last week. Adjusted some doors in the child support area last week before I went on vacation.
And you took a call from us while you were on vacation.
Yes, I did.
Thank you, sorry about that.
I normally do that. I may miss one or two here and there, but I normally will do that. I've got one more up there I've got to fix, but I got a couple of them done before I left. Called some contractor, or a contractor, to set up some repair on the EMS roof, and they'll be over there the end of this month, actually. We're going to set up. He's got to look at the voting machine room. There's some insulation that has come apart up in the attic space that's letting condensation come in. So I'm going to have him over there to do the roof and repair that all at the same time. We got to rent a lift and everything to do all that. So while the lifts are there, we're going to try to knock them both out at the same time. So we're trying to get all that scheduled together. Talked to the clerk about, they took photos of the insulation for me because it was the day I was leaving on vacation last week and couldn't gain access to it. So they went over to took some photos, and I've sent them to the contractor to look at. So he's going to try to get the proper insulation. If those aren't good enough for him, we're going to go visit it. So, and just, like my administrative duties, emails and POs and going to Lowe's and going and getting parts and ordering supplies and that type of thing. That's a daily thing. My daily and weekly inspections that I normally will do around here and other buildings, that keeping checks on the heating and air systems and all the temperatures and all that type of stuff. I've got log books that I keep, I write in, will keep all that information in, and my filter log books and everything. So that's kind of, I stay busy.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. And it's good to know the new, the custodial crew is everybody seems to be pleased and happy. That's good to hear.
Kimberly's very nice, she's doing a great job.
Good. Great.
I do have one question, Mark. A few months ago, I was up on 3rd floor, and I noticed that I thought it was black mold over there, and I just wondered if that ever was taken care of, or if y'all looked into that.
No, I
brought it to Eddie's
I've gotten
attention.
some quotes from some companies and to repair that. And I think I told you before what it was, the tuck point joint on the exterior of the building. It's separated, so when we get a real hard rain coming from that way, it gets in there and leaks, and it soaks into those blocks. I've got a couple of quotes on fixing this, but everybody kind of quoted me something a little different. I've got to kind of fall back and punt, I guess you call it, and start over again and let them just give me a specific quote on repairing that to start with, just to close it up. And some of the other things that they was wanting to quote, I want to discuss that with the judge probably to see if we want to go that route. It's a lot more pricier to do those things. There's some extra things you can do, maybe to keep the water sealant and stuff like that. I just need to get that closed up. I kind of dropped the ball. I was doing the housekeeping stuff for a while until Kim got trained up. So I've been behind. I've been trying to catch up on all my jobs from 3 months. For 3 months, that I kind of stacked up, and my normal PMs and stuff around here. I'm getting to that point, but everything seems to keep coming in at the same time. So I'm trying to catch up slowly but surely.
I was just wondering how that was going.
It's in the process. I just can't get there, it seems like.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Whitney, Walt?
Hello. I send you all monthly what the runs, what dispatch is doing. I thought I'd take a moment, though, and fill you, those of you that weren't here when this got going back in 2017 and 2019, how the dispatch service, the E911 center, got to being managed by the sheriff's office. And all the employees over there at the E911 are employees of the sheriff's office, not the fiscal court. Whitney, she attends the department heads meetings, because we want, everybody here to recognize and understand that E911 and the sheriff's office is, we're team players with the entire county, and this is your sheriff's office. It's not my sheriff's office. It's your sheriff's office. And you all have a direct line of helping us take and provide for the people in the county. But how this got going, you all have all become familiar, I think, with Link NCIC. That is a method through the FBI and the Kentucky State Police that all law enforcement is able to get on a radio and or use a mobile data device to see what kind of criminal record someone has that they pulled over and this and that. That's a very, very important safety aspect to all of our jobs in law enforcement. Well, back in 2016, early 2017, the Bullitt County Dispatch, which was at that time managed by a prior administration, but it was managed by the fiscal court. And the Kentucky State Police came and said, we're lifting your license, we're taking all the equipment out, we're going to take everything out unless the sheriff will agree to manage the personnel there. In 2017, Sheriff Donnie Tennell made an agreement to do that. And he began managing, and what that enabled us to do was to keep the equipment. We still were not able to enter stuff into NCIC, but we could keep the equipment, and therefore they would receive information, but we had to have the state police enter any data that we put in. Well, in 2019, when I became sheriff, we made a formal agreement that the sheriff's office would manage the E911 personnel. We do not manage the equipment. We don't. You all provide funding to us to pay the salaries and so forth, and the human resource expense of E911. And I think a lot of that is generated through that E911 fee that the county's put on, which we need you to think about increasing that because it'll help. We are just now up to just about nip and tuck full capacity in terms of our personnel. Whitney is who manages that, and she does an outstanding job with her staff, the help that she has over there, and I really, I'm the executive of it, I'm not the manager of it, and Whitney does an outstanding job with all of that. But that increased funds will help us, and we'll be talking with you about that when we come talk about our new budget later on in the year. But going forward, the judge had offered at any rate, so we now have, we manage it. The state police came and said, if you don't have a law enforcement agency managing the E911 center, we will take the equipment away. And it is important enough that is an absolute necessity, because we never know with I-65, et cetera. Nowhere, anywhere in the United States does a police officer know who they're pulling over when they pull them over. And so being able to have that Link NCIC access immediately is very, very important. Numbers-wise, for this month, what we've gotten is that the 911 calls that our E911 center received in the month of June was 3,596. That was the emergency calls. The non-emergency calls that came into our dispatch was 6,061. For a total, I believe, of, I've got it here somewhere, 9,600 and a little bit of change. The average wait time for a 911 call in Bullitt County, and this is outstanding, by the way, is 6 seconds. And the total law enforcement runs that were dispatched by our 911 center is 7,226 for the month of June. The total EMS runs that were dispatched was 1,165, and the total fire runs dispatched was 654. So, that's kind of the nutshell where everything is at over there. You all, whatever issues, you all don't hear about, you know, the ups and downs because Whitney takes care of them, and if they get up a little bit to where they're more necessary to have more attention to it, we take care of it through our executive staff at the sheriff's office. And but all in all, I will tell you, Bullitt County is blessed to have a E911 staff second to none in the state of Kentucky. That's and for the we struggle because we're having to fight against the Louisville economy on pay scale, and it's tough. But Whitney and all of her staff do an outstanding job, and they've done a great job of recruiting people. And I think the reason they've been successful in getting that done is because of the outstanding ship that Whitney runs, and it reminds me of, you know, I think of, you know, the ship of whatever and the good ship Lollipop, and if you remember Shirley Temple, and a lot of you young folks don't remember Shirley, but people, they're dedicated and they want to be there, and that's why they're there, and that is largely due to the management that we're blessed to have Whitney providing.
I'm writing that one down. I know Shirley Temple, but I don't know the good ship Lollipop.
It's a song. It's a song machine.
I'm gonna have to look at one.
It's a song. It harbored up in the Lollipop Bay.
I'll be listening to it in my truck on the way.
It was a great place, you know. The good ship Lollipop was a good ship to be on.
Is there anybody here can sing it? How's it go? I'll be Googling that when I leave here. All right. Thanks a lot.
You know, we might sometime for the court, what would be really fun is to get a karaoke machine in here, and they can do a little karaoke at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can find the good ship Lollipop.
I'll be practicing tonight, that one.
You know,
Any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer.
I was just going to tell you, the NCIC is a great thing to have here in our county. I know working in the county attorney's office and being able to get background checks very quickly was very helpful on cases. So I'm sure it is helpful for our officers.
It's really imperative for them because, as I say, when they stop a vehicle or this or that, and you'd be, well, for instance, thank goodness didn't hear, but thank goodness it happened. When Timothy McVeigh, after he bombed the Oklahoma federal building, he was taken into custody on a routine traffic stop, and it was just, you know, Link NCIC came into play on that. Oh, not Link because it was in Oklahoma, but a patrol officer stopped that vehicle that he was in, and that's what began the process of getting him in custody and resolving, you know, securing and capturing the criminal that killed all them hundreds of people. So it's imperative that we have it, and I want to thank this court, the prior court, and Judge Summers in particular for assisting us in running it as well as we're able to run it. And anyway.
And Walt, thank you, because we've made sure you've had the finest equipment money can buy. State-of-the-art technology and
Sure have. And
the dispatch service is so
Very
critical
nice.
to this county.
And, you know, speaking as somebody that's been around here a long time, I started working here in 1980. And the situation that we have in regard to equipment for first responders across the board, and not only that, the road department, everything that we have going on, it's apples and Cadillacs difference between where it was, you know, 40 years ago, 44 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, serving as county attorney until 2011, it's heads and above better than it was in 2008, 2009, 2010. So that's, you all should growth has helped a lot, the growth that we've had, but the management that you all are bringing to the table is the big difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Walt. Chris, Rebecca?
Tom, you know the lyrics to that song?
Good morning, everyone. You are really familiar with us, I'm sure. But we were asked to present some updates for the last month. So the update is from June 1st to July 16th. Every month we hold a mandatory training for all of our staff. We hold that 2 times a month on the first and second Wednesdays. This past month we went over crime scene preservation and some documentation things. As command staff, we participated in the NEMSIS 3.5 update, which is the National EMS National EMS Information System. They determine kind of what language we are allowed to use to send to Medicare and how we can bill. We attended the fiscal court meetings last month and the first one of this month. Prepared for K-Beam's inspection, which is on July 23rd of this year. What they do is every year they come in and they review all of our policies, our procedures, our equipment, our ambulances, make sure they're up to par with what the state requires. We interviewed multiple applicants and performed new hire orientation with those. Participated in the monthly fire chiefs meeting, which is the next to the last Wednesday of every month. We have a monthly meeting scheduled with the nursing director of U of L, the emergency department nursing director of U of L. We do that every Tuesday, the last Tuesday of every month. Rebecca and I attended a 2-day leadership conference in South Carolina. Learned a lot of good information that we're going to bring back and implement here. We trained, like I mentioned before, we trained our staff to improve documentation and billing. Some of our office staff took some specialized courses to help them identify where we need to document different and to increase our billing or recoup more of what we bill. We did driver's training for all of our staff over the last couple of months as a combined online and in-person training. We did CPR training for some of our staff and other community members. I believe we taught about 45-ish individuals CPR. Some of those were at the library, for the library. We attended multiple public events, which included the fair, food truck invasion, Bullitt Central graduation, parade in Mount Washington, a Special Olympics parade. Today and tomorrow, we're sending 5 individuals to the Tactical Emergency Casualty Care class in Georgetown. That's really a class that really teaches people how to deal with patients in tough situations. Really helpful when law enforcement has issues that we need to go in and help them with. Calls for service, if you all have the document in front of you that I sent over, I mistyped the dates. I forgot to update the dates. These numbers are from June 9th to July 1st. I did that because we were asked around June 9th to present.
I don't have one.
I'm sorry?
I don't have one.
During that time, we had 706 calls for service between June 9th and July 1st. 422 of those were patient transports. 145 of those were we went and we either treated and released or they refused to go to the hospital. 57 of those we were canceled or there was no patient on scene when we arrived. We had 12 deaths and 70 standbys. Standbys can include that fair, the food truck invasion, any of those public events, or when we go to Mount Washington to help cover them when they're out of units. Our vehicles, we have had a multitude of vehicle failures over the last year. We have been slowly getting all of those repaired through qualified mechanics. Just to list a few reasons that we've had vehicles go out of service here lately. We've had a blown turbo, bad coolant fan, exhaust leaks, catalytic converter replacements, oil leaks, coolant leaks, AC failure, steering components failure. On to inventory. Jamie Thompson's our inventory control specialist supervisor. He has kept a close eye on all of our supplies and helped us maintain not an overstock of things that expire and help us keep that in check and save money there. He's also a big part of preparing for the K-beams inspection, which is Kentucky Board of EMS. And then what's in discussion for the future, doing departmental monthly performance reviews for all of our employees. That's a big task, but it's going to help tell employees where they're at and where they need to go and how they're improving or how they're not improving, which will help when we do the county performance review. We're looking at redoing our training officer program and implementing different standards for our training officer program. Developing community outreach program. We're still working with different areas to provide CPR training and other things. I believe coming up in the next few days, we are reaching out to a church along with Shepherdsville Mayor's Office to help perform some CPR classes. We're still looking at different external trainings to send our people to help them bring things back to us and teach us. We're adopting or redoing some of our medical protocols, and then we're also looking at doing an EMT or an advanced EMT class in the fall. Do you have any questions?
On an average day, how many employees do you have working?
On an average day, we run...
Per shift.
Per shift. So we have 4 different shifts. They're 12 hours each, and on an average day shift, we have about 19 or 20 people working. On an average night shift, we have about 16.
60 at night.
16. 1-6.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thank you all.
Justin?
Morning.
So I was out for a few weeks, so John and I will split this up a little bit. But for our department's activity report for June and July, we have submitted our quarterly plans to KYEM for their review, and that has been approved. We do all minor maintenance repairs on generators like air filters, hoses, and fuel and batteries at all of the radio tower generators. We were able to make a repair at the siren on 44 West at Skyview after we were notified that it was not functioning properly the other day. It was a grounding rod issue. So we believe someone was using a bush hog and hit the ground rod, which allowed it not to activate properly. We also had a blown fuse at the Lebanon Junction Elementary tornado siren location that has been repaired and is in working order. And keep in mind for everyone that a tornado siren is not meant to be heard indoors, which is why we encourage you to sign up for Smart 911 and have other ways to receive alerts, like our free weather radio that we hand out to the public. Last week, we met with the school board. We will start a radio reception testing in all the schools before the new school year. EMS squads have a GPS locating device inside all of their units, which allows dispatch to have a location on them so they can send the closest unit. That is ran by a SIM card. Inside Nichols Fire Department, the cell reception is not perfect, so we partnered with FirstNet and AT&T, and they're going to provide a free cell booster. So we will start the installation of that next week. And then final, we are implementing a new AC unit at the Martin Hill radio site. We start construction on that this Friday. And then John's going to finish up for when I was out.
I just have one quick question. What service did you say you suggested for alerts or
Smart 911.
smart?
I can send you an email on it. It will send you any traffic alerts, weather alerts, any hazardous incidences where you need to evacuate. You're welcome.
Recently, we've had a search and rescue meeting every month and a training every month. Last month, we had training over heat-related illnesses since it's been so hot. We have participated in a few community events. We were at the Mount Washington City Spring Festival, and we were at the Bullitt County Fair all last month. We partner with our LEPC, it's a local emergency planning committee. We hand out like public awareness stuff, you know, like little stress ball, stuff like that, and answer any questions anybody might have. We also participated in the ham radio event in Pioneer Village. They made over 2,000 contacts within a 24-hour period. We set up our incident command post, and that's where they operated out of for the full 24 hours. Recently, we had one law enforcement assist, 2 hazmats, and 30 missing persons reports. That's not everything that we respond to. It's also runs that we monitor. We have 36 tornado sirens and 4 radio tower sites that we monitor every day. And I think that's it.
I got a quick question. Last meeting, I think Perry brought up the idea of a cooling station, and I think y'all were going to work together. Were y'all able to do that? Did anybody take advantage of that?
We did talk to Ms. Smith with the schools, and we have it open for anybody that needs it. Anybody that needs to contact us in the event of like a disaster, like them losing their home or something like that. That way we can have some place for them to stage and stay cool until we can get Red Cross out to try to find them more of a permanent solution.
Good deal.
Good. Y'all doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Justin, thanks for getting on that down at Nichols very quickly.
Mike Hale?
All right, first off, let me introduce
Oh, I'm
myself.
sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
What's that?
go ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
I missed Janice.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mike Howell. Some of you people here on the bench today have worked in the building right behind you here, the Bullitt County Judicial Center. So you all know how big this building is. I mean, most of you spent years over there, way before my time. A lot of the things I deal with that you have on the sheet in front of you are routine things like Mr. Gardner had approached earlier. Our biggest thing over there is heating and air. For most of you, everybody in this building is homeowners. Take that and multiply it times 50. That's the kind of things I deal with in a 50,000 square foot building. We heat and cool that building with 52 units like you have in your house. It's undersized, but it's what we got, so we make the best of it. I spend a lot of time, every 30 minutes every morning, I spend going over that building to check on heating and air, to make sure I get hot spots, cool spots, whatever's not working, and address it immediately. Because unlike most of you, you report to one person. I have 5 people in that building. I have 4 judges and a circuit clerk. That if I'm not there quickly, trust me, I don't want to hear the wrath of it. So a lot of the things you see on that is heating and air. On that list in front of you there, I coordinate with companies to come in and take care of projects, expensive projects. Our porch out front, I don't know if you've noticed, but the handrail was gone for several weeks. The stones are gone. We've got most of it back in place. We've got tuck pointing to do on it, and then by the end of this week, that'll be completed. This past weekend, I worked 7 hours Saturday on a project that I kept in close contact with Deputy Judge Ms. Parrish. Our cooling tower over there, that little metal box that sits back there in that right corner, everybody says, is that your generator? Well, it's not. It's a cooling tower. It's how we cool all the heating and air in that building. And 11 years ago, it had a leak. When I came into this position, it had a leak, and we were spending $8,000 to $9,000 a month on water bills. We cut that down to $600 or $700 a month. We thought we had a leak in it this past weekend. Turns out, hey, we don't. So, by the grace of God. But a lot of the things I deal with are simple things like that. We're in the process of still working on that tower. We got it up and running. There's an 80-ton unit on top of that building. There's some minor issues with, but what we use in our home, I have 52 of, those will not work on their own. We have an 80-ton unit on the top of that roof. For those of you that haven't been in that building, Mr. Bleeman, Ms. Johnson, if you all would want to do a walkthrough there, I'd be more than happy to show you what we deal with on a daily basis, or what I deal with. When I come in after checking for hot spots and cool spots and things like that, first thing I do is I'm also a custodian, believe it or not, because I have one full-time custodian. Now, we do have a contract, just as they do with this building here, for the public areas in that building. It's, like I said, you got 50,000 square feet to clean. It takes a lot. I've got one full-time lady that doesn't come in until noon, so from 8:30 till noon, I'm it. And we have a lot of public people in there. Sheriff's Department gets a head count through their scanner. Some people in his department gets a head count. We're down from where we used to be because we don't do driver's license there anymore. But we still have a lot of people in that building. A lot of public restroom disasters that I have to maintain and take care of. If there's anything on that list that you have any questions about, I'd be glad to answer. But like our AON unit on the top, like I said, those things are major dollar things in my book to repair. If we don't do maintenance and repair on those things, you're talking over $100,000 to replace. And for those of you that've been in that building, that's a daily ongoing thing. And these buildings are not like at your house. You open the closet door and there's your unit. They're 15 feet above my head. I have 6 units that sit on the floor out of those 52. So it sometimes takes me 35 minutes to gain access to a heat pump unit. We got everything cleaned up, ready to go for second part of this summer. Hopefully the heat will give us a break. I think today's the last day of it. So if we can squeeze through to a fall, I think we're in good shape as of now. And over half of the units, and I keep harping on this because this is the big expense to that building. That building's almost like a money pit. It just goes and goes and goes. But, you know, it's what we got. We have to maintain it. We have to take care of it. So at this time, if anybody has any questions on things going on over there, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mike, I just want to say I think y'all do a great job over there because I'm in and out several times throughout the year, and everything always looks good.
I don't have a question. I just saw, make a statement. I saw y'all doing the rail there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Looked really good.
Well, you know, that's we do what we can to keep it together because unfortunately we got a building over there that they don't make the stuff anymore for. Right. So, all right, no other questions? That's all I've got.
Thanks for everything.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Janice? I didn't do it on purpose.
All right, for those of you who don't know, I'm Janice DeWeese, the HR or Human Resources Director for the county. I do a little bit of this and that and kind of everything. I didn't realize when I got into HR it'd be more like feel like a counselor sometimes, but I just sit there and listen to people when they need to vent sometimes. So back in June, I did sat in on various interviews over at EMS. Coordinated with Bonnie over at EMS with the new hire paperwork and drug testing, setting new employees up in our fiscal pay system, getting them enrolled in their benefits. Daily task, I somehow get around 1,075 emails per month, so I go in and answer all those. That's daily calls, phone calls, filing, scanning. And I've been learning how to do payroll training with the county treasurer, with Canan. She's been helping me learn how to do that. Other payroll duties, I use the time clock system. I do the general fund employees and run reports just into the county treasurer. I also review all the other departments' payroll reports bi-weekly. Back in June, we were asked by the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to implement Title VI training. So I had to coordinate with the KIPTA Title VI coordinator to make sure that all of our employees were Title VI compliant, and they are now as of June 30th. I set up the monthly random alcohol and drug testing for all of our employees with Blue Mind. Worked on all the county salary lists since everything was changing as of July 1st. Sent out the yearly employee surveys. Those were done by Friday, so I compile those reports and we kind of go over those, make sure everybody's happy with what's going on. And I just kind of ask them, how they're feeling about the county, their jobs, and all that kind of stuff, just to get some feedback from the employees. And like I said, I meet and I speak with, and over the phone, emails, whatever, to answer questions about benefits, pay stubs, payroll, health insurance, whatever I can answer to all of our departments. So then I attended a couple of trainings. I did a sexual harassment training that was sponsored by KACO. I had to attend a webinar due to the new FLSA final rule changes for salary employees that took effect July 1. There's another law that takes effect January 1. for our salary thresholds are changing, so. I attend the monthly EMS supervisor meetings, so I can keep up to date with what's going on over there. Attend the monthly directors meetings, and then me and Keith Griffey have been attending the meetings with ADP. That's still in the works, so we meet with them we have met with them a couple times. Our next step with them is to do an analysis on our payroll system, make sure that the ADP will integrate with Fiscal Pay, so. That's all I got. Any questions?
So this payroll sheet, I guess, that you.
Yes, I did those.
And that's the current, that's what everybody's at
That's
now,
the current one, yes.
As of July 1st.
As of July 1, yes, sir. Yep.
Because we had some that were corrected and stuff on the emails.
Yes, yeah, there was a few, sorry about that.
Okay. I was just wanting to
You're welcome.
double check on that.
Okay,
My question's about the Blue Line
yes.
and their end-of-the-year analysis and savings.
They are supposed to meet with us at the end of this month, and we'll get another, it's like she called it the mid-year review. Because I think the full year, we won't know the full year until November, because since we didn't start with them till last November. But we met with them back in, I want to say May, and the percentage of employees that were visiting them had dramatically jumped between like January and March. So March was like a big month for them. So, yeah, I do know that people are utilizing the facility.
Have you been getting any kind of feedback?
We did at the beginning. There were a few issues. I sent those on to Julie Miller. She had staff meetings with her people, and all of it was corrected, so. Yeah.
I'd like to ask about the safety meetings. Are you having any type of in-person
We are
safety
still,
meetings in the different
I have put them on hold
departments?
slightly, and only just because it's hard to get everybody together in the summer months. Because we've got our parks people out, the road people are out. So I'm gonna try to revamp those and get those started again in September and try to do them quarterly at least. But it's harder to get everybody together in the summer, everybody's vacationing, all your people are out there doing, if they got outside work, they're out there, so.
Okay.
Yep. We'll get that going again, though.
Okay, thank you.
We'll keep on top of the safety, so.
Oh, and what is Title VI?
Title VI is the part of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It's just, since the county receives federal funds, anybody that receives federal funds from the federal government, you have to make sure that your facility is Title VI compliant. So, it was just like a short video, it's a video you have to watch and just kind of make sure you're understanding, about discrimination and things like that, so.
Okay, I understand.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Well, and then while Janice is up here, we do have an ask for a new paramedic at Austin Gertzler for a full-time paramedic effective 7/17/2024 at $27 an hour. Because since the last meeting, we've lost one of our finest paramedics for other opportunities.
Yeah.
So are you looking for a second?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second.
We're jumping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, can you call the roll, please?
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leamel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
I hate when I jump.
Charlie Spalding?
Thank you, Tom.
Morning. So I'm over planning and code enforcement as well. So planning does the permitting, code enforcement does the inspections. So in June, planning did 62 building permits. The majority of those are garages, accessory buildings, and single-family dwellings. Other part of that is administrative duties like the rezonings that you guys hear. We processed 9 of those that will be scheduled July and August. And then site plans, commercial developments require a site plan layout to get approved by us to look at parking, setbacks and whatnot. And then code enforcement, again, does the inspections and electrical permits. So they did 188 permits. Vast majority of those are electrical, various residential, smaller permits. 15 commercial electrical permits. We did a lot of fireworks tents in June and July. Obviously, we're not going to do any of those the rest of the year, but that's big in those 2 months. And then the inspections on the accessory buildings. The one difference in the county, Mount Washington does their own inspections. So we issue what's called a zoning compliance in Mount Washington, and then they get the actual building permit for there. So if you see that we did 4 garages, 4 building permits, and then only 3 inspections, that would be the difference. And that's kind of the Cliff's Notes version. Any specific questions?
When you said 52 building permits, was it 52 you said?
62.
60. I'm sorry?
62.
62. How many of those were houses?
23 single-family dwellings.
23?
How did the comprehensive plan forums go? You getting feedback? Were they well attended? Or?
Very pleased. I expected a few more people to be in Mount Washington. I wasn't able to attend that one. I think we had around 20, 25 people. 12 or so, I think, signed in, but Ms. Finn attended that one for me. She said there was more people than what signed in that showed up. Definitely getting good feedback. A lot of that feedback will be discussed in the upcoming steering committee meeting, July 30th. The survey should have closed on the 4th, so we'll probably be talking about the results of that as well. But so far, very, very pleased with the results and the cooperation with everybody to help advertise it and get the word out of where it's at and what's happening.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Any question?
Carol Samuels.
Morning.
Morning,
Good
Carol.
morning.
I'm Carol Samuels, Assistant Director of the Bullitt County Road Department. And you have a short list here, just a brief summary of what we did this past week. But in the past month, we've been mowing the right-of-ways for summer months, been bushwhacking the roads, trying to get all the overhanging limbs back before the school starts, so they won't be hitting the school buses. And been putting in some driveway culverts, doing some ditching, hitting problem areas, and then doing our paving, helping the interlocal agreement. Then we do interlocal agreements with our cities. We've been doing some blacktopping for them. Then we mow for their right-of-ways when we're in the area. And then we deal with any issues that y'all have come up. So that's basically what we're doing.
So have all the right-of-ways been mowed, as far as you know, county?
Yeah, we've been over them once, starting, but we're back when we try to hit them when we're not paving.
So whoever, I know part of it's in the 4th and part of it's in the 2nd.
Yeah.
Greenville Ford, it hasn't been mowed yet. So I don't know if it's a new guy maybe or something. I know y'all got a newer guy that's mowing. Maybe he missed that or something.
Okay, I'll write it down. Then we're
Y'all
also
congrats
down there
about
paving that yesterday and finishing it up today on Greenville Ford. The problem area down there where the road was sinking, sliding.
Above the river?
Yeah.
Could they address anything where it's sliding or just?
No, we're just fixing the black
Paving
pavement
right
for right now, so people's having trouble with traffic getting through and stuff.
You talked about doing maybe some pullovers too, though, at least to help, because that semi and sod farm's causing a lot of issues, getting a lot of calls about.
Yeah, there's a few areas right in there. It's pretty narrow and dealing with the right of way, but we go down there and clear them out some where when they meet, they can pass, because it's pretty much one lane road in there. Ryan can tell you, he goes there a lot.
I have one question. I know that y'all have had a lot of people to leave through retirements or other job positions. What is the number of employees y'all have with the county at this present
I
time?
think 16 working employees besides the staff, the administrative.
16 and
I
5.
think that's what it is, right off the top of my head.
And normally, what have y'all had in the past?
We're down about 5 people off.
You're down about 5.
Something like that, from where they left and retired, what have you.
Okay.
Has it been helpful, I guess, with the relationship of the jail, having inmates helping fill that
Oh, it
void?
helps
or-
tremendously. We work them every day. They've been a big help. We've had some good ones too. They do a good job.
That's good.
And then I see that we've got, agreement for Woodsdale. I don't know if you know about it, but it's a resolution to approve for $185,000 to resurface Woodsdale.
I thought Judge was
Yeah.
gonna bring it up.
No, I didn't know, I thought maybe
Yeah.
y'all knew about it.
Yeah, we got the paperwork on it.
Okay. There's a few cross tiles, but I assume that they'll probably be replaced
Yeah,
because
we've been,
they're,
Robert discussed this morning about going up there and marking them so we can have the location,
right.
have them located, because I don't think there's anything under but water, but
Yeah, I think it's like the water's kind of washing out around it or going over.
yeah. Yeah, we've got to address a few issues before we pave it.
Okay. All right.
You have anything else?
Only thing I can think of is we talked briefly, and I know there's several new magistrates on the board now, possibly maybe we could, and this may be some judge, we could set up a training on the software program. I know you all enter all that stuff in there, but a lot of us, you know, it's been a little while since we went over it, and all the new ones, I don't think they've ever been introduced to it.
What program? You talking about the iWorks?
Yeah.
Okay.
iWorks.
It's something that we can.
Yeah.
What's in our phone?
Because you all are using it, aren't you, I think?
Glenda maybe, I don't myself.
Well, we might need to revisit that, because I mean, I
Yeah,
know
we
we
probably
paid for it or are paying for it,
I
yeah.
remember discussion about it and it cost so much. Thought the county did it before we
Is
got.
that, I don't remember, is it a monthly or a one-time thing, or? We don't? Because I thought we talked about you can take pictures and send it in or something, okay. Do it. Well, never mind, we don't do it, I guess.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope. Carol, thank you for all you do.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
your work.
And thank you for driving me around quite a bit.
Great question.
Absolutely. There you go. Christie.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. So, last week was my 1-year anniversary. Doesn't seem like it's been quite that long, but, so let's just talk about what we did last month. For last month, the 2023-24 waste tire grant was closed. So when I told you guys we had to send back a check next year, and we're never sending back another check, so we didn't send back that check. We secured a 24-25 waste tire grant for the upcoming year for $4,000, and we've received that. And the tires that we pick up intermittently off the road, if the cities need some help with some tires, we can use our grant for that. Recently, we helped the city of Shepherdsville with an ongoing complaint with many tires at one resident, so we used the remainder of our grant to help the city of Shepherdsville because we had it left and they needed to remove many tires. So I think we talked about this before, but the 2024-25 Household Hazardous Waste Grant was awarded to Bullitt County. It's a fiscal year grant. We received it during June. It was $41,000, $41,800. The previous year, Bullitt County was awarded $13,000. So if we have enough money to do 2 events this year, we're going to do 2 events, but I feel like this upcoming event is going to be pretty large with the amount of questions I field lately about what can people bring to that. If you remember when we spoke about the household hazardous waste collection event last year, I told you we were expecting 30 or 40 vehicles and we had 250. So I feel like it's going to be another big event this year. We're trying to set up 2 lines this year when people come through, if anybody took stuff last year, because I do feel like it's going to be a much larger response than last year. Yeah, that's the brochure. We're going to have it at Cart Country again. They said they didn't mind. They have a great parking lot. It's easily accessible. If the line gets long, it's not causing traffic problems. So we're very grateful that they're allowing us to do that. Bullitt County did receive for the 2024-25, we received a recycling grant. It's a fiscal year grant. It's a matching grant, and we were awarded $392,926.77. It was the largest grant given to any single county in Kentucky. With that grant, we are buying 22 mobile recycle containers that'll be placed in the community, probably 4 or 5 locations in the community, with smaller ones available for events. We ordered a really little one to be in parades, but we can also use that one for schools to collect white paper, because I want to create a small milk route for white paper in schools, just to show kids the recycling. The recycle bus comes, you fill it up with your white paper, and then show them the results of that for their individual schools. So we won't receive those containers until the end of October, unfortunately, and then it'll be time to fill out our new grant. So we'll see how those are placed. We've got some ideas of where we would like to put those, so it's going to be pretty exciting. With that grant, also, we got a digital billboard that we're going to hang on the exterior of Recycle. The inmates came last week on Friday when most everyone was off, and we pulled everything out of the Recycle facility. We cleaned it top to bottom. We cleaned it on the outside, and we painted the inside. So it was a good day. We had a great day for that. Back to grants. We received the 2024-25 litter abatement grant in January. We're 6 months into that right now. That grant allocated $70,000 to litter abatement, so we're on task. We're on track right now with the 6-month report that we're required to submit, so that's been submitted. And for the 25-26 grants, I'm applying for, it's called illegal open dumps. And what I would like to use that for is, you are allowed to use that for residents that need dumpsters. Maybe they have some significant cleanups that we're requiring of them, but they don't have money for dumpsters. So this will give us funds to provide them dumpsters only if they do the cleanup. So I have 10 sites that I want to turn in for that. They're long-standing. They were in the records before I started. So we want to give that a try and see if that will help in the cleanup of those facilities. What happens with those is the EPA comes out and they have to do a pre-inspection and approve it, and then it'll get an EPA ID number. They will, as well as the Department of Solid Waste, have to do regular checks on that to make sure it doesn't get back to the original conditions. So we haven't picked the 10 sites, but I do want to ask for 10 sites. We haven't picked them specifically yet. I've asked the road department to tell me if they knew of any particular, because they get out and see parts of the county that I don't always, and then there are some in particular, like I said, they were long-standing for us. For community collection events that we've had, cleanup days, as you guys know, was a very hot event. This last time, on day 1, which was June 1st, we collected Shepherdsville, LJ, and Nichols. We had 43 dumpsters removed for that first day. And for that first day, we utilized 128 inmate hours. The detention center provided inmates for us, and they were wonderful. I just can't tell you guys enough about how hard they work when they come out, how professional they are. And Mike and Dewey, who supervise them, they do a great job with them, and Crystal, who schedules them. So for the first day, we spent $32,369, or $32,369.01 is what the first day cost us. The second day was June 22nd. We removed 41 dumpsters from 2 sites that day. We also utilized 128 inmate hours, and we spent $31,191. Total cleanup days cost for 2024 was $63,560. Last year, for 2023, for 2024, it was $63,560. For 2023, last year, it was $66,035, and they removed 70 dumpsters. So we got rid of 14 more dumpsters, and it was about $2,500 cheaper this year. I believe the difference was because we separated out more metal this year. I didn't participate in last year's. I was hired the week after it took place. But the amount of metal dumpsters that left, we do get money reimbursed to us for metal dumpsters, and it offsets the cost of the dumpster. So that would be the difference in that. September 28th, upcoming, we have household hazardous waste, like we talked about. We've got almost everything planned for that. The only thing different this year is I want 2 lines, and I've spoken to the companies coming for that and asked them if they could send double the staff, because I feel like we're going to be busier than they think we are, just because more people are calling, asking questions. I'm referring a lot of people to our Bullitt County Solid Waste Department social media page about how to get rid of items. If anybody has questions of you guys and you don't know what to tell them, you can tell them if they have social media to look at that Facebook page. If not, feel free to call me. I've tried to tag some of you guys in those. Some of you guys I can't tag. But, just refer them to that, or just tell them to give me a call. I answer questions every single day of how to get rid of things. With our recycling grant, some of the items that we had that we wanted with the grant are cheaper now, just because the cost of things went down. So I do have enough money to do a shredded day, which is pretty exciting. I don't have it scheduled yet, but I am looking for a business that might want some exposure in their parking lot. So I have a couple ideas. So look to do that in the fall. We definitely don't, we want to do that later in the fall after cleanup or Household Hazardous Waste Day. So in recycle, May 2024 was the first month we had over 1,000 visitors through our recycling facility ever. So that's great. June this past month, we had 975 visitors with 2 less working days. So we would have had over 1,000 visitors again. So the utilization of the recycling facility is growing every day. Already this year, we have had 5,374 visitors to recycling, which will put us on track, if it trends like it did last year, to 11,000 to 12,000 visitors through the recycling facility. Litter abatement. During the month of June, we did 37 miles. We, as in Mike, Dewey, and the inmates that do litter abatement. We utilized 229 inmate hours. They picked up 184 bags of trash. And when you think of a bag of trash, it's not just a household bag of trash. It's a bag of trash almost the size of me. They're huge. So they're 84 or 90-gallon trash bags full of trash. They picked up, just this past month, 84 tires off the side of the road. 84 tires off the side of the road. Despite getting rid of 58,000 tires last year at our event, we're still picking tires up off the road every single day. There's a category called other items when someone throws, say, a hot tub on the side of the road, which was picked up 2 weeks ago. Hot tubs, appliances, desks, furniture, signage, anything that doesn't fit in a normal category for us. So they just during the month of June, they picked up almost 300 other items in addition to 184 bags of trash and almost 100 tires. During the month of June, we spent $4,000 on litter abatement with supplies, utilization of the vehicles using FEMA rates, and this is what we applied towards our grant. So year-to-date, we've picked up 2,694 bags of trash and almost 800 tires. Year-to-date. Community involvement events coming up. The Lebanon Junction Library has reached out to do some events with solid waste and some programs they have in mind, so that's going to be exciting. And then we already have some schools reaching out to want me to be a part of their green team, you know. So I've worked on, I think I spoke to you guys about this before, a QR code where the schools can scan that and let me know what type of program they're looking for, how many students, what age group, and how much time. Because they're leaving me messages right now and they're not telling me what we need. Do you want me to come read a book about litter? Do you want a hands-on activity? So I want to get 2 or 3 programs in place that they can select one of those. Do you want color sheets? Do you want, so they can download that stuff already themselves, or, so we can work together. Just an easier access to what they're looking for. Let's see. In August, the Solid Waste Coordinators of Kentucky, which we abbreviate as SWAC, they have a quarterly training. So this quarter they've chosen to come to Bullitt County because of the recycling grants that we've gotten. We're going to do some training here in Bullitt County. They've chosen Bernheim to be their meeting place for 2 days. And Judge Summers is going to come kick it off as our county judge. So he's pretty excited to talk about recycling and waste. And then along with our mobile recycle containers is we're hoping to get an inter-county agreement with Meade County to accept the recycling that we collect in those mobile recycle containers. We'll give them the opportunity to give us a bid on that. Mostly we want them to be able to move those trailers around for us right now because those trailers are heavy. My truck can't move those around, but we were a co-applicant on the grant with Meade County, so this is something that they are offering to other counties already, so it's something that they do. I don't feel like we'll have any problem with that. The recycling that we collect in those containers will be full profit. If Meade County moves those containers around and comes and gets them for us, then we'll split the profit with them and some percentage that we'll agree upon. So it'll be a good deal. Ultimately, I would like recycle to just fund itself. I feel like in a couple years it can. County city assistance. The county has assisted the city of Shepherdsville with tire removals using our grant money. And we also have assisted Hillview with tire removal using our grant money. We do have a closed landfill in Bullitt County. There's some ongoing sampling and projects with that. There's a forced main that's been promised to Bullitt County from that landfill for several years, and it's still in the planning stages with the state. There's nothing the county can do at this point to expedite that. We're just waiting for them to get their bids and contracts and consultants in line. And the nuisance ordinance, we have 17 new complaints this month, and I do weekly follow-ups on open cases as time allows right now. Hopefully past this grant season, that'll be my primary focus for several weeks, is to get many of these closed. Often complaints are just grass related, and then by the time I get out and look at it myself, the grass has already been mowed. But if it's a long-standing complaint, we'll need to escalate that and get it over to the county attorney's office. With the change in what we anticipate in recycling, the solid waste department will have to update our 5-year plan with the state because we are doing additional activities. So they've offered to come and help me do that. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll get that straight with them. And then still on my to-do list is get our nuisance ordinance updated, which I'm really glad I haven't done it up to this point because I don't feel like I knew exactly what we needed, but I have a pretty good handle on what I think the changes need to be at this point. We're going to talk about that at our SWAC meeting that's coming up at Burnham. There's several counties that do need to upgrade or update their nuisance ordinance. So we'll talk about what's working for counties and what's not. So, you guys have any questions?
Yeah, moving those containers around, what type of equipment is required? Is that the main thing Meade County's providing, the ability to move them around? Is that the only thing that's holding us back from keeping 100% of those
Yeah, we need an F-250. That's it. So probably, and the time to move them. So we don't know how fast they're going to fill up yet. So that's why we asked them to give us an inter-county agreement for 1 year, so we could kind of anticipate the need. Is this going to be is this a full-time position? Is this something that somebody that works in recycle can do one time a day? So we don't really know how fast these containers are going to fill up. If after a couple months we understand the need and we can move forward, I'm sure that's.
How often are you moving them around?
We don't have any yet.
None of the containers?
Mm-mm.
They said there'd be 22 though, so how often once it gets.
Trying to buy you a truck here.
Well,
to keep us from having to go to Meade County. I don't know if it's profitable if we're spending, but
well,
what do you said you
Meade
needed
County,
something, well, we would see what we do to help
Meade
you.
County collects and recycle.
Meade County has a Spoken Hub recycle facility.
Right.
They're accepting recycle from other counties right now. So part of the reason that we applied as a co-applicant with Meade County was because they can build their recycle. They get better rates on selling.
Yeah.
Right now, Hardin County is going to Meade County. Bardstown's looking at going to Meade County, minus the Guthrie Center, of course. So many of the surrounding counties are sending that to Meade County. Meade County, in return, is getting better return on recycle because of quantity.
Okay.
So they are by far the best option for us right now. If in the future we need to upgrade, an F-150 to an F-250, I don't think that's any big deal. But I think right now the biggest question is it a full-time position? Is it a part-time position? How often will these recycle containers be filled? What is the ease in moving them? So I think, letting them do it the first few, we're not going to get them until winter, October. So I don't know how. I think giving it one good full year. If into the spring we find, hey, I think that we should be able to move these ourselves. We could probably borrow the road department's F-250 and transport. But we don't know if it's a full-time position or a part-time position. So we just have to figure that out.
Okay. I didn't know if there was something holding you back or something there. Okay.
We just don't know. We don't understand the need yet because we've never done it. If we put these recycle containers out in the community and they start getting filled with things that shouldn't be there, we'll have to, people can't put mattresses and tires and missort them. When it goes to Meade County, it gets hand sorted. If it goes to like the same place Rumkey does, if it's not sorted correctly in there, they call it completely trash. So part of going to Meade County is that it does get hand sorted, and they can pick out the stuff that will still allow it to be recycled and not trashed because it's not sorted correctly.
Okay.
But they can't have liquids and things like that in it. So we need, when it's in the community, it needs to be responsibly used. So we want to put it in a place where there's cameras and things like that. I did order tracking devices and locks for every trailer that's going to be put in the community. So that is part of our grant. So we can see where they are at all times.
Well, congratulations on your 1 year, and I love when you do give updates, you provide a lot of numbers, and so you know exactly what we're dealing with. And I love the idea of that dumpster grant, because I would say a lot of people that are in those situations can't afford, it's a double-bladed sword. You need to clean up your place, so that's a great thing.
Yeah, other counties are doing that, and they're going to talk specifically about that at our upcoming training and how to do that. The grant won't be allocated until the spring, but if we have some right now needs, they say we can petition the state and maybe we can file and then get reimbursed.
Now, Bernheim, don't you and the judge give away all our secrets?
When is that training?
It's the 30th and 31st of this month. The 30th and the 31st.
July?
August.
August.
And then will the containers take the place of any of the roll-off dumpsters at the recycle center, or will we still be using roll-off dumpsters also?
Well,
that's my question.
So, right now, when a dumpster's full at Recycle, we call, and sometimes it's a day or two before they come. If we, depending on how we transport the dumpsters that are in the community, if we have the availability to move them, I would like to put one of our dumpsters in to take the overflow, because we always have overflow from, like you've been out there, we use the small dumpsters on the side. There's 2 8-yard dumpsters on the side of the roll-offs at Recycle. Those are overflow. If cardboard's full, we tell people to put it in there. So what I would like to do in the future is get rid of that 8 cubic yard one, put one of ours there. So when this one's getting changed out or when it's full, so then we would start getting every other one to the point, maybe our next grant cycle, we apply for full dumpsters, you know, and then we can completely staff ours, but then, you know, we have to make sure that we have transportation to and from the recycling center. Even, I mean, last year I think recycling cost us, I don't have it in front of me, but from my memory, I think it was at close to $85,000. So if it looks like, you know, we can get a return on investment, at least the cost of the employee at that time, you know. So, I mean, we're in the very beginnings of how this is going to work best, and we don't know until we get a few out there and try it. So it's going to be trial and error, and that's okay. So what works for, I mean, Hardin County doesn't even lock up their trailers when they put them out. I said, you don't even have locks on them? You know, but then you go to Meade County and they lock everything up and then chain it to something and then chain it to something, so. So we just have to see what works best for us. So we'll get there.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Can I add?
He's the best.
Good morning.
Morning.
Lots of numbers, lots of information, and I just report it to you. On my accomplishments this month, obviously was to close out the fiscal year 23-24 for you all in receiving all bank accounts, which was the disbursement account, the LGEA account, the forest fire account, the clerk's storage fee account, the opioid fund account, and the payroll account. Upon receiving the bank accounts, I balance all the revenue and within the statements to ensure we balance. I also follow that with reconciling all clear checks and any line items that did not have an adequate free balance. I prepare a transfer report for the fiscal court to approve. Also, for any of the funds that are in the negative, I prepare an interfund cash transfer report for fiscal court to approve for those departments that were in the negative, so they would have a sufficient fund, which would balance out to zero. And those statements for you were the statement of revenues, which was on the financial statement, and the statement of the appropriation for you to approve, statement of asset, the statement of receipts, the statement of claims, statement of federal expenditures, which is what you would consider the CFA report. That is the schedule of expenditures of federal appropriations, and that is for any federal grants that we receive, and that would tell the Department of Local Government if we would need a single audit on top of our standard audit, anything over $750,000 that we would expend out for a federal grant. Also for that, we had to, I would prepare the federal expenditures, and also the GASB 87, the lease disclosure, which I got a lot of help from Candy from the judge's office. That's any equipment that we lease. That would be office equipment. That would also include vehicle leases that we would have to report. And along with the fourth quarter report, all of that is uploaded to the Department of Local Government, and we would follow through with a signature page from the judge and I. We have to forward that on to Robert Brown with the Department of Local Government, showing that we have uploaded all those reports. Also, upon the passing of the 2024-25 budget, I have to go into our software, which is the Fiscal Soft. We have what is called Fiscal Books,
and I have to obviously hand key the entire budget into there, and upon finalizing the 23-24 budget, adopt the 24-25 budget. And this would involve adding any new appropriation numbers or deleting any appropriation numbers or revenue numbers at that time. Then upon the completion of the June 30th, being that I do the payroll as well, I would submit a quarterly unemployment wage report to CAECO, and that would involve me at the end of the quarter of June 30th. I would then take a wage report from the fiscal court for all departments, as well as I receive a wage report from the county attorney's office. And those wages are reported to CAECO on a quarterly basis. And then once that is done as well, I will generate a quarterly 941 report, and that is generated on a biweekly basis as well after every payroll. And then I run the quarterly report for the 941, make sure everything balances out. And once that is balanced out, I generate the quarterly, make sure that balances, and that is submitted to the IRS on a quarterly basis. Same with the city taxes of Shepherdsville. Make sure that everything balances out bi-weekly, and I would generate a quarterly report, and I submit that report along with a check to the city of Shepherdsville on a quarterly basis. Then with each payroll, this past month, we had 2 payrolls, and each payroll I am provided a file from the following departments. We have someone from each department that prepares a file for their department. The first is from the general fund, which is from Janice. She provides the file for the general fund. Road department, it's Glenda Holder. And from the jail, it's Crystal Holder and Crystal Krebs from EMS. Those files are sent to me along with a report from vacation time that's used, as well as the time that each person has. I import each file into the payroll, and I run each department separately. Upon running those separately, I double check the report along with the file that's imported to make sure everything's verified. And once it is, I run vouchers because we are totally direct deposit to make sure that everything matches up. And once everything matches up, I run reports for taxes, which is the federal, state, and local, Social Security and Medicare, then the benefits report, which includes the health, HSA, the Kentucky Deferred Comp, the flexible spending, the dental, vision, critical care, accident, MESA, life, and disability, and then child support and garnishments. Once these are ran, since, like I said, we are total direct deposit, I run vouchers to the direct folder on my computer, then I post to the Fiscal book side of our software. This comes directly off of our budget because we are all assigned an appropriation number, and after each department is done, I create a direct deposit batch on the Fiscal Express side of our software. Once that is done, the direct deposit batch, it is uploaded to the bank website, and it is, the way I verify that is that we have to have a specific number of participants as well as the batch amount. Each department has a gross amount and a Social Security Medicare amount, and that has to be transferred from our disbursement account into our payroll account. I can't do a transfer by myself. I do the transfer drafting, and Ms. Parrish then is provided the information, and she approves that. Once that is all done, I write the payroll liability checks, which that would be for Kentucky Deferred Comp, child support, garnishments, and the Kentucky State Tax, which is now ACH. We can no longer write a paper check for the Kentucky State taxes. Like I said, all of these checks do require a dual signature by the county treasurer, county judge, or the deputy county judge. Also, on a daily basis, each department turns in monies, and once they turn in their monies, the treasurer's office has to key in each piece of revenue that we receive. We get money from the planning and zoning, we get money from code enforcement, we get money from jail, we get money in from everywhere, animal shelter, and sometimes there's multiple entries within those departments. It's not just one piece of money. Last year alone, we keyed in 6,624 receipts. Like I said, sometimes those receipts had multiple entries. And that's every day. And every day my office prepares a remote deposit with the checks. And at the end of each day, I end my day with a daily cash deposit at the bank. As stated, I do attend both fiscal court meetings of the month, and I prepare all my reports for you all to approve as well. I attend the department head meetings. Each day, multiple times a day, I do monitor our county bank accounts. We have automatic deposits that come in from several entities, and we do have a transfer that comes from within our own bank accounts daily that I monitor as well. Upon the passage of the new budget, there was also a passage of new salaries and pay rates that I had to enter into our pay side of the software, and I entered that for each employee this past month. Monthly, I monitor stale checks, and I contact those vendors to let them know that their checks are soon to be out of date, and to ask them to please cash them, or to advise them, ask them if they have not received it or it has been lost. If that's the case, I will void that check and do a reissue. Usually upon the hiring of a new employee, they are entered into the fiscal pay software and entered into a guidepost site so they can view their pay stubs. Once they are entered, they have an import code that I usually provide to the payroll person that provides the file for me to do the payroll. Once they elect their benefits, and those benefits that benefit page is provided to me from Kelly Net from Phil Brown Associates. Those deductions are then keyed in to our fiscal pay side of the software, and that's usually what I do. Every month I receive a United Healthcare, Mutual of Omaha bill, a MASA bill, and an Optimum Financial bill. I work through each bill individually. As working through each bill, they are broken down by departmental order, alphabetized, and broken down by the employee portion, and fiscal courts match. Once I work through each department, I generate a report to ensure the billing matches and the employee's deduction and employers all matches. If not, I start troubleshooting and see where the difference on the bill is. Once everything matches up, I key in the matches and the employer portion in claims and produce a check for mailing. Every fiscal court meeting, a list of claims is produced for fiscal court approval, and for each claim there's a check written. Upon approval of the claims, the writing of the checks, I will co-sign the checks along with the judge executive or deputy judge executive for the mailing out of the checks. The treasurer's office also handles the utility bills that are paid upon the due date. All claims checks, once written, are posted to the fiscal books, and then a file is uploaded to the bank to the positive pay section. This is also another feature that the bank has for us to prevent fraud. So this is done on a monthly basis in my office, and this is what I do. Just want to let you know, as far as on the statement of assets, just for your information on our carryover, for the general fund, we carried over $8,073,340.36. For the road fund, we carried over $10,120.64. For the jail fund, we carried over $74,014.95. For the LGEA fund, we carried over $382,457.67. For the federal grants, we carried over $1,264.90. For the EMS, we carried over $24,470.44. For the Forest Fire Protection Fund, we carried over $1,445.03. For the clerk's storage fee, we carried over $172,609.13. For the E911 dispatch, we carried over $387,615.73. And for the opioid settlement fund, we carried over $888,552.72 for a grand total of all funds, $10,015,891.57. Do you have any questions?
And Ann, thank you. That was very detailed.
Very detailed.
Thanks.
Did you give us a copy of all that, or?
You have everything. Are you talking about all this?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is your statement of assets.
Oh, okay, that's what you gave us today. Okay, okay. I didn't pull that out, I'm sorry.
Okay. Kim Foster?
Good afternoon. I'm Kim Foster. I work with Bruce Foster, team of two, and we have 3 inmates. We currently take care of about 10 pieces of property. And we're presently working on the Nichols property and very excited about that. Hope to have a pavilion there soon and start the trails. And that's, you have a list there, kind of showing what we've done the past month. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take them. And we work with the jail with 3 inmates, and without those inmates, we couldn't accomplish everything that we do.
When do you think that you probably get the pavilion up in the Nichols area?
I'm sorry, what was that?
In the Nichols area, when do you think that pavilion will be built?
The pavilion?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting 3 quotes right now.
Oh,
We've
okay,
had 3.
I must have misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I'm working on the quotes.
Okay.
So we need 3 quotes, because it'll probably be with under 40,000 for that. So that would be my first step in working on the trails. But we have cleaned up a lot. Worked with Danny Clemens with the school board. He's pretty excited about it. So he's pleased with what we've done so far.
I have been by there several times, and it looks great. That's what y'all have already done.
And we have, we've had 2 disc golf tournaments that I've been involved with. A ladies tournament, and they just completed a men's tournament last week, and I helped those guys get food trucks or whatever they might need. So it's been real successful.
Thank you.
So what are the other 10 properties or 9 properties?
On your list there, we help maintain grounds here with
So
Mike.
everybody said we got a list, but I don't think we got a list from any.
Yeah.
I know it.
Oh, you didn't get a list from
No, so we didn't get
You didn't
lists.
get this in your packet? Oh, I'm sorry, thought you did.
That's okay.
We worked
There's
on
other
the,
things.
Bullitt County
everybody
Disc Golf
got
Course. We also maintain the old health department on Buckman Street,
The
the
what?
Roby ball fields.
I didn't catch that.
The health department.
On Buckman Street, the old health department,
The health
we
department?
maintain that, the grounds there. Behind the judicial building, we help maintain that. The animal shelter, I-65 north and south ramps, and the fairgrounds. And then plus the Nichols property. So we maintain all those properties. And that's a team of 2 with 3 inmates, and we couldn't maintain all that without the inmates.
Did we cut the grass at the fairgrounds?
No, it's the property next to it.
Adjacent to it.
Okay.
Where that new
We
5-star
call
is
it
gonna go in
Fairgrounds.
there.
Okay, we'll call that, okay. I was just confused. You said
And then we
maintain the
work with
fairground.
Christie and litter abatement.
Yeah.
So, we pick up from Bullitt County Supermarket all the way to the fairgrounds on the ramps too. So, we do a little bit of everything. I would say we're a little bit like Public Works.
We still have the
Instead of a
splash
parks
park at Lebanon Junction, don't we, do we?
Well, we have 3 parks. We have the,
No, you said you were more like a public works department.
we are, we're
Or
like, we
road
do a little bit of everything. Parks, Public Works, help out wherever's needed.
At Lebanon Junction, that splash park, has it been used a lot?
Yes,
You see?
the splash pad, well, that is not really our park, that is LJ's, but we did just roof that concession stand for them, the building.
Okay.
Well, it's basically a bathhouse. So they asked for some help, and we roofed that for them.
Okay.
And that was just completed.
So the 3 parks are Maryville, Nichols.
And the, coming up, the old, the
Belmont
LJ, the iron furnace, yeah. We haven't started that. That's probably a fall thing. And the Nichols property will be a lot this fall. So that's kind of what we have going on.
Right.
Any questions?
Well, thank you, Kim, for all that you and Bruce do.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry Ed's out sick, so. Okay. No old business. Tammy, second reading of the zoning ordinances for 2417. Nicholas Nolan.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-17. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Property in question is .15 acres more or less, located at 7766 Highway 44 East, parcel number 063-NE0-08-004 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court disputes and rejects the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for denial of said zoning change, and disapproves and rejects the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and based upon its own findings of fact, determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2024Z-26, is hereby changed from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 2nd day of July 2024, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 16th day of July 2024.
Thank you, Tammy. And that recommendation for clarity is to change it to B1.
That's correct, Judge. And so the Planning Commission sent an unfavorable recommendation. That's why this ordinance, if you adopt the ordinance, you're overriding that recommendation and you're approving the zoning. So if you make a motion to approve the ordinance, you'll also need to make your own findings of fact as to why you're approving. Otherwise, you can adopt the recommendations of the Planning Commission, which would be a denial. Those are your two options.
Well, I mean, you all came last week, and we had testimony from everybody. And it's kind of a tough one there because I think you got a really great business model and everything. We met out there at the property, but I mean, after looking at it, I actually drove by there again this morning. I'd have to adopt I'll make a motion that we adopt the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission and deny the zoning change. I do think that at some point, I think it would be feasible possibly to consider this, but I think after looking at the spot, the site distance, and more importantly, the drainage issue, that gentleman that spoke, Jerry's dad, I can't think of his name, Wayne. Looking at his house and that homemade wall and the issue, and I think the gentleman there, you had mentioned something about, obviously, that it's kind of we hope and we, I just think that the drainage is a big problem in the site distance, so I'd have to follow the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission on that one.
But in the point to that, any property on Highway 44 in the next few years, we're going through a comprehensive plan. This point being is that the comprehensive plan is going to change. Property is located right on Highway 44, adjacent to a couple of businesses too. So I can't necessarily agree with the planning and zoning finding on this, because Highway 44 is going to be a commercial road, whether we like it or not. That's my finding of fact, Tammy, because our current...
Sean's got the motion.
Right now, we have a motion on the floor from
Right.
We can have discussion.
So there's already a motion on the floor to accept the Planning Commission recommendation.
Okay, so I'll call for a vote then.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leamle,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
No?
Sanders,
Yes.
motion carried.
Second reading zoning ordinance 24-18, Lighthouse Storage of Mount Washington.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24 I turned my thing off. Sorry, Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-18, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 2.853 acres, more or less, located at Highway 44 East, parcel number 063-NE0-08-003 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court disputes and rejects the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for denial of said zoning change, and disapproves and rejects the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and based upon its own findings of fact, determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2024Z-27, is hereby changed from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 2nd day of July 2024, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 16th day of July 2024.
That one's obviously the same thing, goes hand in hand, so I'll make a motion that we follow a recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to deny the zoning change for ordinance 24-18.
Second.
Got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logston, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Bleemel to accept the planning and zoning recommendation on 24-18. Sam, call the roll.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leamle,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
No.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Resolution 24-04, approving the execution of the agreement between Bullitt County Fiscal Court and the Kentucky Department of Transportation for resurfacing of Woodsdale Road in the amount of $185,000.
Resolution 24-04, Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Bullitt County Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Department of Highways for the amount of $185,000 for the resurfacing of Woodsdale Road, and be it resolved by the Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said agreement, and does hereby accept the funds provided in said agreement, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated, and the Judge Executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said agreement as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, and the Fiscal Court Clerk of Bullitt County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto.
Thank you, Tammy. I'll entertain a motion to accept the resolution 24-04 for the agreement of Bullitt County Fiscal Court and Kentucky Transportation Cabinet to resurface Woodsdale Road in the amount of $185,000.
So moved.
Got a second by Fourth District Magistrate Bleemel. Sam, call the roll.
Bleemel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Sanders,
Yes.
Logston,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Purchase and cut a check for Hart InterCivic ADA compliant voting machines from Hart Enterprises. We also have a resolution on that as well from the county clerk to move this forward so we can get our grant money back to us as well.
Yes, and Judge, I believe it's two separate things. Am I right, Ms. Shannon? So we need a vote to accept the HARP estimate, and then I can read the resolution, and that's a separate issue for the county clerk, but it's two separate votes.
That's fine.
And I guess it don't matter in which order. I'll make a motion that we accept the estimate from Election Source to purchase.
I can speak on this.
Yeah, because it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is going to be 2 new voting machines. So they're the ADA compliant voting machines. We currently have 10. We need 2 additional, 1 for the extra location, 1 for the additional machine. So that's going to be the first one, is just purchasing the 2 actual voting equipment, the ADA compliant ones. The second motion is for the resolution, which includes the grant money of $8,300 to purchase 36 handicap accessible voting tables. So it'll just need to be 2 separate motions.
Okay, I make the first motion of the first one you just said.
Okay, so the first motion will be for the Hart InterCivic ADA compliant voting machines from Hart Enterprises, purchase of 2 of them.
I make that motion.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Okay.
Okay,
You said it so well, I didn't want to butcher it up.
I know she did.
so Sam, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Bleemel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now the resolution?
Fiscal year, I'm sorry, Judge.
No, you're fine.
Fiscal year 2025, Help America Vote Act, or HAVA, election security. Authorizing resolution, County of Bullitt 24-05. Where adoption of a resolution of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court authorizing the filing of fiscal year 2025 Fiscal Security Help America Vote Act, or HAVA, application with the Kentucky State Board of Elections, SBE, for up to $8,300, authorizing and directing the Bullitt County Judge Executive to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by SBE to carry out this project, and authorizing the Judge Executive to act as the authorized correspondent for this project. Whereas Bullitt County, or the county, desires to purchase voter privacy booths approved by the State Board of Elections on behalf of the residents of Bullitt County by supporting the HAVA election security project. And whereas it is recognized that HAVA monies available to the county for the purposes stated herein pursuant to HAVA election security impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the county, and will require, among other things, 1, approve of a satisfactory application transmitted to SBE for approval, and 2, other obligations of the county in connection with receiving the HAVA grant monies for the purposes stated herein. Now therefore be it resolved for this 16th day of July 2024 by Bullitt County Fiscal Court that a fiscal year 25 physical security Help America Vote Act application on behalf of the county for HAVA monies up to $8,300 project shall be submitted to SBE. The county shall provide such additional information and furnish such documentation as may be required, and the county judge executive shall act as the authorized department correspondent for this project.
Thank you, Tammy. I'll make a motion to accept the Help America Act voting resolution so we can get reimbursed.
I'll second.
Got a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston. Sam, call the roll.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Thank you, yes.
Motion carried.
Discussion of Maryville Pool, the condition. Oh, the reappointment of Jerry Brimer, I'm sorry, to the Board of Adjustments, term to expire June 30th of 2028. I'm gonna put that in the form.
2028.
Yeah, 2028.
Or so we're just.
No, I
make sure.
understand that, yeah, that's when it went away.
Okay.
Sorry.
Typo.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Got a second by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel. Sam, call the roll, please.
Logston?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes,
Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Discussion of Maryville Pool condition.
Anybody have any questions about the Maryville pool?
What was the question?
Do you have any questions about the Maryville pool?
Speak into the mic, Kim.
Do you have any questions about the Maryville pool?
Yeah, when's it gonna open?
Right now, everything needs to be gutted and changed. The pump house is shot, the filters are shot. There is a leak running from under the decking somewhere. So in order to fix that leak for the bathhouses, the deck will need to come up on a corner of the pool.
Do you have prices for this?
Brand Center Carroll gave us a couple quotes earlier, and I think you might have a copy of those.
So
And Aqua did too.
from January?
Yes, and we're revisiting them. We got American League and some other folks looking at it as well, because this is not a, let's put it this way, it needs to be done right. For years, the county ran chlorinated water in huge volumes into a no-flow stream, which everybody that's came and looked at it said that was just, we were just lucky somebody didn't go to jail at that time. So we're going to make sure if we do it, it's going to be done the right way, not just fill it back up with water and let it run out everywhere. The leak was substantial. At COVID, we had a price at that time of about $750,000 just to fix it as it is, with our folks doing most of the repair work, which we don't have that ability anymore. So trained professionals has told us, engineering firms, that we shouldn't fool with the top of that deck, because if we tear the liner, then we're looking at a whole new pool. So we're getting rebids and requotes, and we'll look at it financially and see what we can do. KCO, I reached out to them about our insurance. You all know Joe Greathouse. He has 20 counties. There is only one government, only one fiscal court that runs a pool, and that's in Shelby County. And it's really similar to what City of Shepherdsville is building. It's indoor, outdoor, all year-round facility, and so we need to look at this in a really good way to make sure whatever we're doing is justified and sustainable, not only for us, but in the future of the county as well.
I know, but that's what we keep on saying, and we keep on not opening the pool yet. So we need some action.
We're doing action, Karen. I want you to understand that we have worked our tails off, getting bids, getting people to come in here. Folks just don't drop everything and come running to us.
Well, we have the bids, and we just need to proceed.
The bids are no good now.
I can say this, we do have bids ongoing. I'm researching bids and options. We have the Land Water Conservation Fund grant that we were awarded from the state level. That's a federal grant. Justin Kipta was here earlier today. He had to leave, but we signed the agreement for that grant. The DLG missed the deadline on submitting it, so it's until we get awarded on the federal level, we really cannot act on spending or doing anything with that. If we do, we'll lose the opportunity to recoup $245,000. So it will be a while before we're awarded that.
Did you say the DLG missed their deadline in submitting the grant? And so now it's going to be how long?
I don't have a deadline on that. They're hoping in the fall. So it's not been awarded yet on the federal level.
Kim, I know you all have gotten estimates. I guess my question would be, in those estimates that you have gotten, does that include the pump and the filters and everything, or is that a separate thing with the pool?
The estimate we had from Brand Center Carroll earlier included everything new.
It included everything? Because I'm sure everything is pretty old there.
It is 50 years, yeah. And I just met with American League last week, going over some options, and they should get us some quotes too. And the City of Shepherdsville, of course, is building a nice aquatics, indoor, outdoor facility too. So I think we ought to consider that too.
That's in Shepherdsville. So what's the next step on getting the Maryville pool open?
Well, I think we should wait for the grant.
Wait for the grant.
I mean, I don't think we should throw away $245,000.
So you can't do anything at all until you get the grant?
That would be up to you guys.
What do
That
you
would be
mean?
up to fiscal court
I don't know what you mean.
on what you want to do.
Well, if we want to get the 245 grant, then we need you can't do anything at all to the pool. Is that what you're saying?
At this point, no, we cannot do anything to the pool.
Or the pool house or the restrooms?
To get the restrooms open, I need to tear up the pool deck to get that leak fixed.
I would say we do that. I mean, I don't know anything about, but if you're doing a lot of events out there and it is a long-term goal to get the concessions and the restrooms fixed, I mean, if the pool ain't worth anything anyway, I wouldn't be scared to tear up the deck. I mean, if that's what we need to do to get the bathrooms working and to have a, concession area for events and different things like that. That's just my opinion. That might be the first step, get working bathrooms out there and get water on, and then move and see what kind of funding's available. I wouldn't be too worried though about $245,000 if we got to wait another year or two to receive that money, because I mean, every year that passes, the cost of inflation, contractors and everything's going to rise. But if the county in general, it sounds like I heard from the judge and everybody else last time that everybody's on board with the bathrooms getting opened, I would say let's look and see what we got to do that. That's just my opinion. Let's get the bathrooms working so somebody can go to the bathroom out there, and then move step 2 or something.
When they have, we do have a porta potty out there. It's not great, but
Yeah.
it's something. When they have tournaments, they have food trucks come in. I help coordinate like Kona Ice or food trucks for them whenever they have tournaments. So.
And to help you, Sean, that's what we have done. That's how we discovered the leak.
I've seen that pool deck. I mean, I'm sure in the bids that we received, it included replacing the pool deck, didn't it?
Some of them.
It looked like 50 years old, cracked up anyway. So
Right.
I would imagine they'd put a new covering. So I don't see. I would entertain the idea. I mean, it's not my district or my area, but I know it serves the community. But if everybody wants to get the bathrooms working, I mean, I wouldn't hold back from worrying about messing up the pool deck when it's already messed up. That's just my thought. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take a jackhammer and saw, cut it open.
Yeah, and the only sensitive thing about that, Sean, to help you a little bit here, is that if we mess up that liner, removing that pool deck, then it's a whole new pool.
I thought that's what we're looking at. Is that liner even any good?
Yeah, the liner's good.
The liner's fine.
That's why, that's where the cost is somewhere around $2 million right now.
I just couldn't imagine. I assumed they put a new liner in. I couldn't imagine spending $2 or $3 million and having an old liner in there.
Well, if you put a liner in there, it's $4.7 million.
What's under there? Is it the plumbing under there?
I'm sorry.
Under the pool
the
deck,
plumbing
is
under
it
the pool
plumbing?
deck where it's
No,
leaking?
on the deck is where all the plumbing is. On the deck.
To me, it would be cheaper to start.
Can't we run a new water line?
Water line.
I mean, just not even worry with that one. It's a bathroom. Run a water line to it. Why mess with the pool? I mean, I'd run a new water line to the bathroom. Don't even touch the pool. Maybe get a quote for getting a new water line ran to the bathroom. Let's get some. If everybody wants, it sounds like every time we have a meeting, if everybody wants bathrooms, nobody's opposed to it. But let's just not even touch the pool. Get a water line ran over to it. Where does the waste and stuff go from that bathroom? I mean, do we have a septic out there, sewer?
When we turn the water on, so the left corner adjacent to the pool, adjacent to the school, that back corner, now that's where the water's leaking, or it's where it's coming out at. Where it's leaking under there, I couldn't tell you. And American Leak couldn't tell me that either. We would just have to take that pool deck off.
Is there a sewer over there it's attached to, or is that on septic, or what? The bathrooms, or is it going in that creek?
I'd say it's on sewer. I would say that would be sewer.
It's
Oh, Jerry said we've been putting chlorine in there for years.
Well,
so
it's not on sewers.
Okay.
The bathroom, and there's a big sewer line right below it. When we cleaned the park up, that we found it.
Okay.
I mean, literally, probably the length of this courthouse from the back edge, back right corner of the pool going down to where hole number 1 is on the disc golf.
My thoughts, if you're wanting the restrooms to be open, is just start all over with your plumbing and hooking up, if that's what you are wanting.
I agree.
and not even full with
Not worry
that.
about the leak.
Yeah.
Just talk to some plumbers,
If you
put
feel
out
it-
plumbing bids
Yeah.
for a new water line.
We can do that. That's a good solution. That's why this is a good discussion. Because what I don't want to do is tear up that liner. If we end up fixing the pool, that's another $2 million. And we've got that from Aqua, Branstetter, Carroll, and probably
I would,
American Leak the same way.
I would see what American League, I do not have anything back from American League yet, but I can talk to them about the deck
Brian,
as well.
yeah.
And trying to find the leak and resolving that issue.
Because, Brian, to help you when you go out there and you look at all them squares cutting that deck. What that is, that's return lines. We cut and dug up every one of them in 2018 to the tune somewhere around $50,000. Then it was leaking again at the end of the year because underneath the fill is degenerating. So when the fill starts settling and going away again, the deck comes down and breaks them lines again. Then you have huge leaks over and over and over and over again.
So if we're talking about maybe just running a new line,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
instead of here, maybe we come
No,
up
I
here
understand
and
that. No,
just-
right.
and
I
just,
do.
You know, that could just stay underground.
Be an
Just
independent
turn on,
problem.
Shut off.
Yeah, but I was just wanting to help you understand how the pool works. You know, that's where the water comes in and out from.
Right.
Recirculating it the whole 9 yards.
Instead of remodeling that part, just see what it would
Right.
cost. Just
And-
a couple
and-
of different plumbing companies give a.
I don't know if you need a motion on the floor or not, but I would encourage you, I'd say we get some estimates for, to run a new water line to get the bathrooms functioning properly.
Yeah, and we can do that, and as long as it doesn't cost over $40,000, we won't need to bring it back to the court.
I mean, the only thing you're looking at is getting that and a hot water heater, correct? Oh, well, you probably need new sinks and stuff
I
like
would say it's
that.
gonna be over $40,000. It will be over $40,000.
Well, then-
For a bathroom?
Well,
Let's get some bids and then
yeah,
we'll go from there. We don't
Let's
know.
just look and see, right, Kim?
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept bids to renovate and improve and make the bathroom functioning with a new water line.
And
And ensure that it's being obviously disposed properly.
Right, and I'll second that motion.
And that's just bids, but then we can talk all day,
Right.
but then we know what we're dealing with.
Absolutely. So, Sam, call the roll.
Johnson?
Yes.
Blemo?
Yes.
Judge Summer?
Yes.
Sanders?
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Kim. At this time,
Thank you, Ken.
Mayor Cabero, I want to thank you for sticking with us. Mayor Egan's, I'm sorry he had to leave early. Amber, the group of you who were here today. Sorry this meeting was so long, but the court requested reports from the department heads, and we have 12 departments. So this will be an ongoing, we'll be doing this once a month, moving forward, hopefully on the second meeting, or I'd like to do it at a night meeting too as well. So, again, Jose, Amber, thank you all for sticking with us today. And at this time, I need a motion to go out of regular session and into executive session to discuss litigation.
I'll make that motion.
Oh,
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blemo, to go out of the regular session into executive session to discuss litigation. And Sam, call the roll, please.
Blemo? Yes. Judge Summers?
Yes,
Sanders?
yes.
Logston? Yes. Johnson? Yes. Motion carried.
thank you all. Hey, Jose,